Despite having a 100-pound lymphedema mass between his legs and being the second heaviest person ever in my 600-pound life, weighing close to 900 pounds, JT managed to lose a huge amount of weight and look like a totally different person by the end of his journey. But before the weight loss though, JT was close to eating himself to death as he ate some of the craziest meals I've ever seen on the show, all while using his lymphedema mass as a table to eat from.
Every day of my life is pretty much the same. I wake up and eat, and I try to keep eating for as long as I can because it's what I live for now. And it's all I want to do. And I can't start my day until I've had something. So when my girlfriend Jessica wakes up, she usually gets up before me and heads out. But she never leaves me without leaving something I like by the bed. Nothing else I can do can compete with how good it feels to be eating.
Because food comforts me better than people can. And it's the only thing that brings me back to at peace or at center.
So why would I even want that to end? Even when it feels like it's too much for my body to hold.
When I'm done eating, sometimes I feel miserable just because I'm so full that I can't move.
Now, I know what everyone's thinking, and just before we start, let's clear it up. No, that isn't his nutsack. It's a lymphedema mass, which is a buildup of fat, swelling, and liquid, and it's just in a very unfortunate position in his body. Anyway, JT starts his day with 3 pizzas, probably pre-ordered from the night before, ready for when he wakes up, as I don't think anywhere delivers that many pizzas so early in the morning. After this breakfast, JT attempts to wash himself, which he only does once a week, which is probably why he literally has flies landing on him. But JT has been gaining weight rapidly over the past few years, and every time he tries to get up out of bed, it gets harder. If he doesn't change soon, he probably won't be able to get up anymore at all, and will have to be washed directly in his bed.
But as hard as it is, getting up out of bed is the easy part. Because not only do I have all the weight of my body pulling down on me, I also have severe lymphedema on my left leg.
I can't walk properly because my lymphedema pushes against both of my legs.
It hurts constantly.
And I can only stand for maybe 15 minutes at a time.
My size and my lymphedema make it hard to fit in most places anymore. I can barely get in the bathroom and sit on the toilet. And if I get any bigger, I won't be able to. And I'm scared of what I'm gonna do when it gets to that point.
JT can barely wear normal clothes anymore, and you can see from all of the holes in his shorts that his body is literally pulling them apart. These are probably the only clothes he has left that fit him. Eventually, if he keeps gaining, JT will just have to be draped in a sheet like many of the other patients, as clothes just won't be an option anymore. His lymphedema mass, which likely weighs more than 100 pounds itself, comes with a lot of complications too, and JD has to keep it clean but also manage the swelling.
I can't take a shower in a normal tub. I have to have a stand-in shower because it would be just impossible for me to lift my left leg over the rim of the tub.
But because I have to stand,
I can't stay in the shower for too long.
it just hurts too much. And to make it even worse,
I can't be in water for too long because it's bad for my lymphedema.
the hot water makes the swelling worse. And then it starts to burn.
It's in there, scrub the most stinky parts, and then out. I can wash everything on my body from about my waist up. When it gets to my leg and down below my leg, it's almost impossible.
So I do as much as I can, and then I get out before it gets too bad. But I'm very limited at this point.
I'm beyond scared to get to a point where I can't take a shower myself. And I can't. It terrifies me to get to that far.
His clothes are so worn that it just makes me feel bad for him. It's not just his size, but the lymphedema mass makes it so awkward to find anything that fits.
But at my size, I don't have many outfit options. I have one pair of pants that fit me still because of how big my leg is, and just a couple of shirts that fit, but they're getting really worn down at this point. And if I get any bigger, they'll either get to be too small or just completely fall apart. Then I think my only option to cover myself would be a blanket, which will be a whole different level of embarrassment for me that I'm scared of. But even with all I'm afraid of happening soon because of how big I'm getting, I still can't stop doing what's causing it.
And it's no wonder why JT's gained weight so rapidly, as his portion sizes are just completely out of control.
My portion sizes are very large.
We get large serving sizes of things, and I'll just make the whole thing. You know, the whole can of biscuits and all the sausage patties. I'll eat it all, and I won't stop until it's all gone. So you know Jessica has to go shop just about every other day to keep food in the house, because my appetite keeps growing, and I constantly need a supply of food so I can keep eating and keep that feeling I need going. And nothing in my life can compete with how food makes me feel. Not anything. Eating is better than sex for me. And every time I take a bite, it's like I'm transported to this other world where there's no pain, There's no sadness, there's no judgment. There's only peace and joy, and all that comes with food. So I can't even imagine my life without it, because it is my life. It's what I'm living for and why I get up. If I'm awake, I'm either eating or waiting to eat. And if I'm asleep, I'm dreaming of eating. So it's all I think about and want.
Now, his breakfast is completely insane. He has an entire packet of frozen sausage patties, loads of eggs, about 6 or 7 biscuits, and it's insane that he was able to eat all of this in one go. And the fact that his girlfriend Jessica has to restock the fridge and cupboards every other day because JT eats everything that quickly is just unimaginable. And not to mention the cost. JT's eating hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of food every single week and month. Jessica does bring him whatever he wants to eat, but she says that she doesn't really have a choice, because if she doesn't bring it, JT will just order it anyway.
I worry about JT a lot, about his condition and weight and everything, and how much he eats. Because since I've met JT, he has gained weight. I think when we first started dating, he could do more. Now I would say pretty much everything JT does, I see him struggle with. I wish there was more I could do to help him. But if I express those worries to JT, he gets very upset, especially when I try to influence JT's eating habits in any way. So I end up bringing home the fast food and getting what he wants from the store because they don't want JT to be mad at me. So I just do whatever he wants.
While Jessica does enable him, I don't think she is as much to blame, as JT would still make sure he ate as much and when he wants, with or without her help. She tries to encourage him to lose weight and change his lifestyle, but it's impossible to change someone's mind if they just don't want to do it themselves. JT didn't always have a problem with food, as he was always a healthy weight when he was younger, but when his parents got addicted to drugs, things started to spiral out of control.
The biggest one being that I didn't realize that my parents started doing drugs. And as I got older, their habit got worse. They got into harder stuff.
Instead of buying things like clothes and food, my parents would use the money to buy drugs and alcohol and cocaine, ecstasy, shroom. Meth was a big problem.
So we started to struggle even more financially. And my whole family situation changed. Things just got a lot harder and lonelier, because me and my siblings were kind of on our own and had to start to fend for ourselves.
In school, JT's weight started to become a huge problem as he was too big to sit in a normal chair and desk. Instead, his teacher made him sit right at the front without a desk, where everyone would just stare at him and he felt he was on display like an animal in a zoo. Instead of making friends, he just ate food and the weight kept piling on.
So I was up around 450 then. But at that age, my family started to become a lot more responsibility for me, because as the oldest, I kind of had to start becoming the leader of the family and take care of everyone, since our parents weren't taking care of us. And I was old enough to get a job, so I became the man of the house. I got a job at a fast food place, so I can earn a paycheck and keep eating all day.
I'd go to school from 7 until 3, have to go to work from about 3 p.m. to about 3 a.m., and then have to be back up at 7 a.m. for school.
And I made what we needed, but the stress of it all was hard. To do school and work like that. And I started to get really depressed, and that just made me want to eat more. And by the time I was 18 and graduated high school, I'd crossed well over into the 500s.
He clearly had a lot of pressure on him for a young age, and without getting much support from his parents, he just turned to food to cope. And that's what's really driven him to his current habits, is just after he's had a huge breakfast, he's eaten 3 large McDonald's meals all by himself. Each quarter-pounder meal comes to at least 1,200 calories, and if we're including a full sugar Coke too, this meal is nearly 4,000 calories. It's like that JT got this habit from working in a fast food restaurant, as he got whatever food he wanted for free, so he just ate what he wanted. When he worked at a pizza takeaway, he would eat 4 to 5 large pepperoni pizzas all to himself over the course of a shift. The weight gain happened fast because of all of these extra calories, and by the time he was just 22 years old, JT weighed over 600 pounds. This was also when JT's lymphedema mass started to appear, and doctors told him that it would only get worse if he didn't start losing weight quickly, but he just ignored the doctors and kept on gaining. JT's weight kept climbing until one day he couldn't even go to work anymore.
To where when I turned 25, I had to completely stop working because I couldn't physically do it anymore. I went on disability. I'm guessing I was around 700 pounds then, since I couldn't take care of my family anymore. The one thing I didn't want to do is become more of a financial burden to them, so I started living on my own, doing nothing really but eating all day alone. But the loneliness didn't help my depression. I got a dog named Bella to try to help, but nothing does for me what food does. So my eating has never slowed down. To where now I don't know how much I weigh. All I know is it's gotten to be too hard to do most everything. If it wasn't for Jessica in my life, I don't know what I'd do or how I'd survive.
He can't do much of anything for his size, and he can never get comfortable because the weight is just always pulling on his skin. Even when he sleeps, he has to position himself sitting with a pillow on the wall. Doctors have said that JT would be dead at 30 because his heart simply wouldn't be able to support him anymore, and it would eventually just give out. And now JT is 32 years old, but he's living on borrowed time. His girlfriend Jessica has pushed him to see Dr. Now as a lifeline, as he's pretty much just out of all other options. The major hurdle now is getting JT there, as he can't fit in a normal car.
I'm super grateful Jess is coming with me on the trip.
There'd obviously be no way I can do this without her getting in the car and driving me there. I just hope it goes well, but I have to make sure that I can even fit in the back of the vehicle.
Bring it through the side door.
Okay.
I'm glad I can fit, but it's still tight and I'm really uncomfortable.
Well, let me spread it out.
Wanna hold the pillows?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Even though I can fit, I'm worried if I hit my breaking point, it'll be somewhere on the road. And that's possibly scary because it's a life and death situation for me.
Now imagine the sheer size of JT to fill an entire boot of an SUV with the seats down. He's literally ginormous. Because he's so uncomfortable, they can only travel for 2 hours before JT gives up and wants food and his hotel.
But so far we've only gotten 2 hours in an 8-hour drive.
Can I get 2 of the beef and cheddars?
So that's not nearly as far as I was hoping. And I'm a little disappointed in myself for that.
When they get to the hotel, his temper starts to show as he becomes really annoyed with Jessica for basically no reason.
I only have 2 days until my appointment with Dr. Now. So whatever it takes, I have to go longer for tomorrow. But this was a lot harder than I expected. And I'm just at my limit. And I'm hoping that if I get some solid rest and eat, that I'll be ready again tomorrow.
But when they get to the hotel, JT's unsure if the bed will even be able to support his weight.
I just really hope the beds are good and that they can hold me. Because my legs are about to give out.
I don't know if this is stable for me to sit on. I'm not trying to be on the floor.
We'll try to sit on it.
What is that on? Oh,
And like sit down slowly.
there's no slowly. Oh. It's hot. Okay.
His lymphedema mass restricts his movement so much as he can barely use the leg it's attached to. He kind of just has to fling himself back and hope the bed will hold him because he can barely support his own weight. And he needs to get as comfy as soon as possible as he can't wait to eat any longer. It really irritates me how many of the patients on My 16 Pound Life eat loads of takeaway food on the way down to see Dr. Now. They always complain that they don't have any other choice on the road, but they do. They could have some meal prepped food, or they could just pick food that's a little bit healthier. Just because they're hungry and they're on the road doesn't mean they need to get massive burger meals. JT could also just eat less of the big meals, and that would be a massive change, but he just still can't control himself. Somehow he does make it to Houston though 2 days later and gets weighed in for the first time in years. The last time JT knew his weight, he was over 600 pounds, but like we said in the intro, we know he's now a lot heavier.
I know I'm over 600 pounds. And probably over 700 too. I just hope my weight's not a lot higher than that.
892.
With JT being nearly 900 pounds, he's one of the heaviest patients ever to feature on the show, and probably one of the heaviest men alive. Truth be told, it's amazing that he can still walk, especially considering the lymphedema mass on his leg. Because he's nearly 900 pounds, if he sticks to Dr. Now's diet, he should be able to lose 150 pounds in 2 months, which is obviously a massive amount of weight. That's if he sticks to it though, because Dr. Now also points out that Jessica also has a weight problem, so she also needs to work on the food she's bringing JT as she's eating it too.
So who else is in your household beside you?
Just Jess.
And you two are dating, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Since he's not that mobile, you're bringing him all the food he wants,
Yes.
and you have weight problem, and he has
Yeah.
a weight problem. So that's a bad combination.
Yeah,
no?
it is.
Yes.
So this is going to take both of you to make the changes to be successful,
Yeah.
okay? But Julius, if you stick to the diet, you should be able to easily lose 150 pounds over the next 2 months. Okay? And if you do that, then we'll consider you for weight loss surgery.
When Dr. Now and Jessica arrive home a few days later, JT takes a turn for the worse, as the journey to Houston was too much for his body.
Like I'm gonna throw up just every 2 seconds.
You need the bag?
Yeah, I might.
Okay.
I was scared of being in the car for as long as I was. I'd pushed my body too hard. and that something really bad has happened. So Jessica called Dr. Now, and he told her I need to get to the hospital now because he's worried it could be from an infection with my lymphedema. And he said if it is, it could be really bad. So he wants us to go now. So Jess went to go make another minivan rental, and she's gonna take me in that. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle being in the car when I feel this bad. I'm just really scared, and I'm hoping something isn't really wrong because I feel like I'm dying.
You be okay getting in the van?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It must be awful to have to go 3 days in the car to see Dr. Now, then 3 days back, only to have to rush to the hospital in the back of the car again. He's clearly unwell, and having to do a car ride when you're throwing up is probably torture. But this shows just how debilitating his weight is he can't do normal things. And it should serve as a reminder for everyone just to stay at a healthy weight for as long as you can. Thankfully, it turned out to just be food poisoning, but the car ride really inflamed his lymphedema to the point where it's now infected. JT really needs to stick to the diet and lose the weight quickly, otherwise the infection will just get worse. But to be honest, based on what he's eaten, it doesn't look like he's stayed on track at all.
But me and Jessica are also changing our diets to Dr. Now's, and I'm working really hard to lose weight. I just hope that I make enough progress by my next appointment. Because with everything that's happened this past month, I know I have to get help now more than ever. We're even working on moving to Houston next month, like Dr. Now said.
His portions look massive and he's eating what looks like bacon, which definitely won't be in the diet plan. To be honest, I'm not confident that he'll have lost much weight when he goes back to see Dr. Now, and when he does, things don't exactly go to plan, as JT's rental car breaks down on the way there and he ends up needing medical transport to make it the rest of the way to see Dr. Now. And when Dr. Now sees his condition, he's pretty concerned.
Having any pain right now?
Yeah, the whole problem from my hips and my back down is just...
Well, this mass is very heavy and putting a lot of strain in your back and on your knee and hip.
Yeah.
And we gotta get this mass off. But to do that, we need to get your weight down.
Yeah.
It's a matter of life and death for you because you can't keep going like this.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Let me check your leg and your lymphedema.
And aside from the lymphedema, Dr. Now thinks JT's only lost about 20 to 30 pounds, nowhere near the 75 he should have lost in a month.
It's going to be very hard to deal with this. So we need to aggressively work with your weight, think of removing this mass.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance you wouldn't survive another few months if we let you continue like you have been. So after we run our test, if there's nothing we need to address immediately, we may start you on a controlled diet here to help you with that, since you don't look to have lost much weight. 20 to 30 pounds at best. So your situation is very serious right now because if your lymphedema gets infected, it's going to be very hard to treat it with the antibiotic and it can get in the bloodstream. And at that point, you likely won't survive. Okay? So this is a dangerous situation to have and you need to be very proactive to take care of it right now. Okay?
JT just can't be trusted to lose weight on his own, and Dr. Now doesn't want to see him die, obviously, so he keeps him in the hospital on a controlled diet, where Dr. Now can see exactly what he eats and when he eats. The only danger is what we've seen before, where Jessica might bring him food that she shouldn't. The controlled diets at hospital have a very high success rate, so just can't be tempted with food from the outside, because they only get what the hospital gives them. Patients have lost record-breaking amounts in hospital, often losing over £100 a month. And this is exactly what JT needs to save his life, and to get him in a position where he can continue to lose weight at home too. And a lot of the time in the hospital, they'll learn what the portion sizes they need are, because at home, it's just so easy to pile on more food. While in hospital, JT and Jessica's relationship, though, is on the rocks. Jessica has spent so much time looking after JT that she's clearly got a bit sick and isn't sure if she wants to even be with him anymore.
But earlier today, Jessica told me she doesn't want to stay down here with me right now and that she wants to go back to Oklahoma, which I guess basically means we're breaking up. I don't know. So just when I thought things couldn't go off the tracks even more, that was another thing that blindsided me. And then to top it all off, the food here is horrible. And I'm not allowed any compromises. So I don't have anything to calm me down or help me deal with all of this. And with nothing to help me deal, My stress level and anxiety just keep getting worse. I'm really, really struggling.
Honestly, Jessica leaving to go back to Oklahoma could be good for JT, as there's no chance that she could sneak food in there for him, and he would have a better chance at losing the weight from the controlled diet alone. However, he's complaining so much for someone who literally will die unless he makes this change, and it's not surprising that Jessica wants to get away from it.
I feel like he just needs me around just to help him, not to be like in a relationship. He gets mad whenever I cry or want to talk about things because he doesn't want to talk about them. It makes me feel like I have to bottle everything up. I love JT a lot, and that's what makes it hard.
How you feel about me leaving?
Stressed. I told you, this ain't gonna be easy. This is gonna be literally torture. And I'm definitely not gonna be easy to cope with during it.
Well, it comes off to me as you don't care, and it hurts.
Well, I'm sorry, but you knew this when you got into it. I literally told you on day one.
Plans change, I guess.
I just want to stay in Oklahoma.
I can't even believe this, because it's just one thing after another. When you get frustrated and mad, you just bolt. It's like, you want to talk about a relationship?
If it's not going to work, then what's the point?
Fine, then just go.
Can't do this.
I can't believe all of this is happening. In a matter of a few days, I pretty much lost my home, my car, and my girlfriend. And my dog for now, because I can't go back and get Bella. It's like my whole life is falling apart right when I'm trying to save it. And all I want to do right now is eat, but I can't even do that. So none of this is fair at all, not in any way.
While Jessica doesn't have much of a personality, to be honest, she's clearly helped JT massively, and he wouldn't be able to exist without her, so he really shouldn't be complaining. It's clear he only sees her as his caretaker, so to be honest, I'm quite glad she's left for her sake. After Jessica left, JT stayed at the hospital and saw a lot of success thanks to the diet.
The day after he first arrived here at the hospital, we checked his weight and he was only down to 884 pounds. So in 2 months on his own, he only lost 8 pounds. But in the month we had him here, on a 1200 calorie a day controlled diet, we have gotten him to lose 126 pounds to get him down to 758. And his lymphedema has improved some because it's getting smaller. So now what we can do is send him to rehab, which will help him get his stamina up, but won't have the same controlled diet. So we can start to see how he's going to do on his own.
As Jessica's gone, JT has nowhere to go, so Doctor now sends him to a rehab center to lose the rest of the weight until he can continue on his own. But he's miserable. Without the food, JT thinks he has no reason to be happy at all.
Been here in Houston in this rehab facility for another month, and it's been almost as miserable as the first month in the hospital. The only good thing has been there's just a little bit more freedom here, but it's been really lonely. My cousin had to go back a few days after I got here, and I haven't heard much from Jessica, not that I want to. So I've just been focusing on trying to make the progress Dr. Now wants so I can get out of here soon. But so far, that hasn't happened.
Despite living in rehab and on a controlled diet, JT is still able to order takeaways, and the staff can't take the food off of him, so he's fallen behind on his diet, totally disregarding the fact that he's lost over 100 pounds in hospital. I always find it surprising when the hospital can't just turn away food. Like, they're in a rehab unit. Surely there's some sort of protective measures they can put in to stop them from just gaining weight in there. Anyway, JT is putting in no effort, complaining at every opportunity and not doing any of the physical exercises that the staff ask him to do. As he's completely undoing all of his progress, Doctor Now comes to see JT to try and get through to him.
How are you today?
Doing okay.
So, how are you getting along?
Okay, I guess, but I feel like I'll be better when I'm out.
Yeah, you've been here for 2 months and it doesn't seem like you have lost any weight.
No, I haven't.
What's the point of coming down here and not doing diet?
Guess I'm not sure.
Let's check your weight and see.
Okay.
And honestly, JT acts too smug here, almost like it's funny. He's just wasting everyone's time at this point. If he doesn't want to lose weight, he should just go home and give his place to someone who actually wants it. In the month at the rehab, JT loses just 10 pounds. To put that into some perspective, when JT was at the hospital, he lost over 100 pounds in 1 month. JT must be ordering fast food at least once a day for him to only lose that amount. When Dr. Now confronts him on this, his attitude is really shocking.
748, huh?
Well, actually, I did lose weight. And I haven't gained any weight since I've been here.
You know, when you're 700 pounds, if you stick with the 1,200 calorie diet, how much you're gonna lose a month?
I have no idea.
100 pounds.
Yeah, I did that last month like you said.
You should have done it again.
That's just according to you.
What do you mean? What are you trying to tell me?
My mental state, me not being in a mental state, me being stressed out, makes me eat, makes me want to eat. That's me being here. I'm assuming that if I would have went back home, I'd have been losing that weight and we'd be having surgery and a completely different conversation than this.
You're not making any sense. No matter you're in Houston or Oklahoma or Timbuktu, nothing justified to be unhealthy and give you all that rhetoric that I didn't follow that because I wasn't planning to be in here.
Okay.
Really? I mean, this is your life. This is your health.
Okay.
And you are responsible for it, and we're giving you help and tools to change your life and be healthy, and you're making all kind of nonsense reason not to follow diet, right? Make sense?
Sure.
It does?
Yes.
To you?
Yes.
Okay. There's no hope for you. You're gonna kill yourself young.
Okay.
Okay?
Noted.
You gain the weight back and become immobile, then your health is going to go down the tube and you're not going to survive. You're killing yourself with the food. Which part of that is so hard to understand? No matter where you are responsible for your eating habit. You are responsible to improve your life and your health. Don't make those excuses that are acceptable to you to not follow the diet because the floor was crooked, the light was not good, the bed was not good, I was not playing with here, so I'm gonna kill myself with food.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right? You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back to your room.
He makes so many excuses, all with a smirk on his face, as to why he couldn't lose the weight. But the reality is that he just couldn't stop himself from ordering pizzas. Dr. Now gives JT one final chance to stay in the program, otherwise he'll be removed for good and his smile will be wiped off his face. JT has to lose 80 pounds in 1 month or he will have to leave the rehab centre and find somewhere else to live, and without Jessica to help him, that will be near impossible. And thankfully, this works, as JT does hit the weight loss goal a month later and moves into a halfway house, somewhere between rehab and his own private apartment. But that's not all, as JT is still too heavy to undergo weight loss surgery without major risks. So Dr. Now gives JT another month to lose 75 pounds completely on his own to qualify for the surgery. And this will prove to Dr. Now that JT has finally changed his attitude and can lose weight without any help. And at his next appointment, we'll see if JT actually stuck to the program when he gets on the scales.
2 months ago, I was down to 671, and I needed to lose 75 pounds by today. So if I did it, I'll be under 596. That's a little disappointing. I'm happy I'm losing, but I worked really hard, so I expected that number to be lower, and I'm a little upset that it's not. I'm also worried about what Dr. Now's going to tell me, because I didn't lose enough, and I'm scared about what's going to happen now.
Now, it's not completely awful. It's 20 pounds less than what Dr. Now asked him to lose, but it still shows that JT is giving into his cravings a lot and not totally sticking to the diet. However, despite not hitting the goal, Dr. Now sees that JT is moving in the right direction, so schedules him for weight loss in 2 months so that JT has extra time to lose the weight. 2 months later, JT finally gets his surgery and makes some great progress afterwards. Because he doesn't have anyone to support him post-surgery, Dr. Now keeps him in the hospital where he can be looked after. But it also means that it's much harder for JT to sneak in any extra food.
Hi, JT.
Hello.
How you feeling today?
Doing okay?
All right, so ready to go home?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see where your weight is at, and then we can get you on your weight, okay?
Okay.
Let me bring the scale and we check your weight. Okay, 519. So you lost another 52 pounds this past month. So that's great.
By this point, JT has lost over half his body weight, and you can 100% tell the difference. I think Jessica leaving him probably turned out to be best for both of them, as it meant that Jessica could get on with her life and not be a carer, and JT couldn't get as much food as he wanted without her bringing it to him. JT did eventually start to make an effort, but it wasn't until Dr. Now kept him in the hospital and essentially forced him to follow the calorie-controlled diet that he did. By the end of JT's episode, he's slowly continuing with his weight loss and looking forward to eventually getting below 200 pounds, and he's finally able to wear some new clothes too.
And without a car, it's at least a place I can go to feel like I'm enjoying the outdoors. It sounds crazy, but when you're almost 900 pounds, you forget what the sun and wind feel like on your skin. Because you either never go outside anymore, or you do and you're sweating so much, that's all you can feel. So I'm savoring being able to do something like this now. As simple as it is a big deal to me, because it shows me how far I've been able to come in the last year. I had my 2-month post-surgery follow with Dr. Now a few days ago, and I'm just barely in the 400s at 491.
During JT's journey, COVID-19 also made an appearance, so having any chance of having his lymphedema mass was delayed. However, 3 years after his first episode, JT finally got it removed, and he's looking like a totally different person now.
I'm back in Houston. I'm ready for surgery.
Can you take those?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'm pretty excited. I got my weight, and I'm down to 329.
I lost 28 pounds, and Doc says he's happy with that. So he's doing my surgery today.
Hey, JT.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good, you?
Well, it looks like you lost some more weight.
Yeah.
All right, great. So we're gonna go ahead and today get the mass off of your leg, and this is gonna make a huge difference in your body contour, and you're gonna be able to walk. So you're gonna have to get adjusted because now you're swinging this leg more than the other one to walk, but then after surgery you won't have that weight on it, so you have to adjust your walking. And after surgery you're gonna be able to get better clothing and be able to wear regular pants. All those things is going to make a big difference. All right? Mm-hmm. So we get started shortly. And this is the last time you're gonna see this mass.
I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay.
Once removed, the mass weighed over 80 pounds, around 60 pounds of fat and another 20 of fluid. Imagine carrying extra 80 pounds on your leg. That would be intense for anyone, let alone someone who already weighed nearly 900 pounds.
After surgery, when I woke up, I was pretty mind blown. At first, it felt like a dream. Felt like it wasn't real.
You're moving better.
Yeah. They told me that the mass was about 65 pounds in weight.
You're good.
Can't believe it's finally gone after 15 years.
It just feels so weird. I'm used to that mask being there.
That part is over. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, just roll the walker. Good job.
When I first got out of the anesthesia and that wore off, I really wanted to get up and I really wanted to move around. Leg feels a lot lighter than before. I don't remember not having the mask because it's been so long, so it's really incredible not to have it there anymore.
Never
You like turning around or?
I'm fine. I'll keep going. I won't sit down.
Doing good.
Dr. Now says that I should take it slow, that there's a lot of swelling still there, that I should just take my time and go slow with the recovery and be patient.
I think we're gonna progress to no walker later on today. How about that?
I'm really excited to start doing new things and doing things that I wasn't able to do before. Like ride a bike, drive a car, something like that. Just small things, go to an amusement park. I've never really been able to do things like that.
And just put it into some perspective. Next time you go to the gym, try and find a 45-pound weight and just try and carry that around. He was carrying around double that just on one leg. JT took a very long time to get on board with his journey, as for the most part, he didn't seem to care if he lived or died. And honestly, it's really thanks to Dr. Now for giving him a second chance and allowing him to prove himself that he managed to pull himself around and lose the weight for good. Now, JT isn't active on social media, unfortunately, but I'd like to think that since having his lymphedema mass removed, he's been able to get more active and continue with his weight loss. From claiming his body doesn't burn calories to calling Dr. Now a liar and sneaking food into the hospital, James King was undeniably the world's most hated star of My 600-Pound Life, with fans dubbing James the epitome of someone who refuses to be helped. As he piled on the pounds during Dr. Now's weight loss program, it's not surprising that his story ended in a very predictable way. To understand why James is so hated and what he did to earn this title, we need to go back to the beginning. We learned from James's first episode that he had an exceptionally difficult childhood, as his mother was an alcoholic and he was primarily raised by his father. He only saw his mother 3 times during his entire childhood, and she was drunk every single time. James admits that at times his family did struggle with money, so there was often moments where he was worried that he was going to get enough food to eat. This is where everything starts to go downhill for James.
I just started to eat much as I could when I got the chance. And I remember the joy and safety there was in food.
He discovered early on that food could serve as a distraction to his unhappy home life, but we could never have expected it would turn into such a gluttonous habit that ruined the lives of everyone around him. Despite his traumatic childhood, he didn't garner much sympathy from fans. Fans of the show commented, "Such is life, but it's not an excuse to be lazy, selfish, and disrespectful to people. No wonder everyone was calling him a freeloader." Other commenters pointed out that they also had traumatic childhoods, but didn't develop an insane eating habit as a result. It's clear that James has no one else to blame except for himself. Skipping ahead slightly to James at 18, weighing in at over 400 pounds. We begin to see his true nature exposed here, as James explains how he met his partner, Lisa. Starting out as neighbours, Lisa had 4 kids with her abusive husband, but Lisa and James soon grew an attachment to each other that led to an affair. They quickly fell in love, with James noting that one of the key factors in his affections for Lisa was that she loved me for who I was. My weight didn't matter. Lisa describes her early relationship with James as active, noting how they often went riding or fishing together, which are probably the most sedentary sports imaginable. Having an affair is pretty bad, but it was about to get even worse for the couple and Lisa's husband. Lisa fell pregnant twice with children who weren't her husband's. James knowingly fathered 2 of Lisa's children, while they both pretended like they were Lisa's husbands and let him raise them. During this time, James suffered a minor ankle injury and needed the fire department to come pick him up and put him to bed, which leads us to the present day. At 550 pounds, life isn't looking good for James. He's completely bedbound and relies on his family for absolutely everything, most importantly, food. His partner Lisa has become his feeder.
But he's bedridden, so I'm an enabler. I bought this food and I carry the food to him, but I don't know how to stop.
Now that James is bedbound, it's difficult to know who's worse, James, who put himself there, or Lisa, who keeps him there. Let's not pretend that James is innocent in this situation. When Lisa brings him a healthier meal, they argue and fight about it. She doesn't want to make him feel uncomfortable, so she feeds him comfort food to keep him happy. James also threatens Lisa when she doesn't feed him enough. One fan points out, "If this was my husband, I would only feed him healthy food. He's lost 100 pounds within the first month. If he yelled at me, I'd punish him by skipping his next meal. It's called tough love." And if you think James couldn't get any worse, you'd be wrong. He drafts his daughter, Bailey, into the trenches of his bedsheets. He pulls her out of school to support Lisa in becoming his full-time carer. As James is so overweight, he can no longer walk to the bathroom, and he has to soil himself in his own bed. In one of the most shocking scenes of the whole episode, James calls over Lisa and Bailey, telling them he's been to the bathroom and that he needs to be cleaned up. James has to completely depend on his daughter for everything, including cleaning up his own feces. One commenter writes, "F everything else. The fact that they pulled their daughter out of school to become a full-time assistant caretaker is absolutely disgusting, shaking my head. It's unimaginable to think that James puts himself before the needs of his own daughter, taking her away from an education so that she can be his full-time 24/7 carer. Lisa feels heartbroken that James cannot live the life he used to be as he's bedbound, but fails to mention the difficult life it must be for Bailey, who acts as her assistant caretaker in all aspects of his life. In what is his last chance to save his life, James and Lisa decide to reach out to Dr. Now to try and make a change. They are immediately hit with the hard truth. Lisa is the enabler. She claims not to understand how James gained that much weight, making the excuse that she doesn't realize how many calories are in the food she's providing. If you haven't already started to hate James yet, you're definitely about to. As the trip to Houston and the treatment is so expensive, James and Lisa set up a GoFundMe to raise the funds. As you can imagine, people didn't exactly want to donate to someone as greedy and overindulgent as James, who'd gotten himself to over £600 by sheer gluttony. In need of immediate funds for his life-saving trip, James's dad refinanced his home to pay for the medical transport as a last resort. Unfortunately, this would all be for nothing. Raising the funds was the easy part, but now they have to figure out how they're going to transport a £600 man who hasn't gotten up to walk in years. They initially tried to put James in the back of a van, but as he's over 1 meter wider than the width of her van, he won't fit. They eventually settle on renting a moving van, strapping James in and going all the way to Texas. On moving day, James is strapped into an extra large hospital bed using ratchet straps to hold the fat spread across his body. It takes over 8 men to carry him from the house, and despite the community coming together to help James, he shows no gratitude for their efforts. He moans and complains the entire time, screeching every time the van goes over a bump. It's been a long ride for James when he arrives at the hospital, but it's about to get even longer. The time has come for James to meet the man who will hopefully save his life. It's clear that James was expecting a warm welcome with lots of sympathy for his illness, but Dr. Now has other methods. He quickly shuts down James's excuses and becomes a refreshing voice of reason for the viewer, who has undeniably been frustrated throughout the duration of the episode so far.
If they don't bring you food, what are you going to do to her? Scream? Yell?
You usually argue with her?
That's all.
Well, I get mad.
What are you coming to Houston for? We don't have a miracle for you. I talked to you, I talked to her, and what I see here, this is not a weight loss.
I just talked to you for the first time. I think, 4 months ago?
4 months is enough to lose 100 pounds. To get under 600 pounds.
Really?
Yes.
Dr. Now also confronts Lisa.
I've been trying to get him out of that bed.
No, you are not. If you did, last time I talked to you, you changed his diet. It doesn't look like he lost any weight. Is this the lifestyle of a human being? This is a miserable lifestyle.
Dr. Now tries to convey the gravity of James's situation to Lisa, explaining that he hasn't got much time left as a direct result of Lisa's actions. After a tough initial meeting with Dr. Now, James is placed on a strict diet in the hospital in order to prepare for the weight loss surgery. James is put on an 800 calorie a day diet in an attempt to lose 180 pounds in 1 month. James does initially see success in the weight loss inside the hospital, and so Dr. Now allows him to move into an apartment nearby to continue the treatment at home, away from his watchful eye. As you'd expect, things don't exactly go to plan. James claims that he's only cheated a couple of times, a couple too many when you're living on borrowed time. The effects of this cheating catch up with James almost instantly as he's rushed to hospital with chest pain. The doctors determined that James was experiencing heart failure. At this point, he's so obese that the doctors need to put a central line through his neck for the medication to flow quicker, because his body's so big it wouldn't have reached his heart in time. After being treated for heart failure, he's sent home again to continue his diet plan. It's now been 2 months since he'd seen Dr. Now, and he was supposed to have lost over 100 pounds. It's clear that things haven't been going well. After Lisa's car is towed, they've been unable to make trips to the supermarket and are having to rely on takeout food.
Food.
Got it.
That's a pretty ridiculous excuse, considering they could have just walked to the supermarket instead. It's especially ironic considering the pair claimed they were too broke to repair the car, which is only 1 flat tire, yet they're eating takeout food every single night, which has got to be at least $25 when you're ordering what they're ordering.
But ever since I've had my heart failure, all that stress and stuff has been making it hard for me to resist my cravings. The biggest setback has been losing the use of our car. Lisa was driving down the freeway and her tire started to come off, and we can't afford to pay for a cab, so we have to order out a lot right now.
When Lisa decides to make fish for dinner one night, James exclaims he doesn't want to eat that shit anymore. I'm tired of the same stuff. He shouts over at Lisa, order me a Chinese, and she shows little challenge.
Egg rolls and rice, fried rice.
I don't know about the rice, though.
That's what I want, though.
But rice is on that paper that we're not supposed to have.
It's fried.
It's still rice. Fried is
Well,
worse.
that's what I want. I'm tired of fish and chicken, Lisa. I'm sick of it.
I'll get my phone and see if we can get it delivered.
Soon enough, a Chinese takeout turns up at the door and straight down James's throat and his sheets. As the viewer, it's frustrating to watch Lisa continuously give in to James. She could have easily denied his request and made him a proper meal, and if he didn't eat it, he would have been better off anyway. One commentator points this out perfectly. James would hate me because once he started hollering about the food he wants, I'd be like, get up and go and get it, and walk out of the room. The daughter is the only one I have sympathy for. Those other two can kick rocks. Dr. Now shares this view when he comes round to check on James, where he immediately notices that James hasn't lost any weight at all. The pair come up with so many excuses, but none place the responsibility on either of them. Dr. Now orders James to return to the hospital to continue his treatment.
I don't think the doctor's being fair, and I don't know why he thinks I look bigger. But he's wrong because I feel better, and I know I'm smaller than when I started doing this. So hopefully when I get into the hospital and get my weight, I can prove it to him there.
It's James's first day back in hospital and he is weighed straight away. 840 pounds shows up on the scale. The hospital room erupts in conflict between Dr. Now and the pair. James complains that he hasn't had any support, that he didn't have a good nutritionist, and claims that there's something else at play here that could explain his exponential weight gain.
You know that I'm just now getting the resources that I've been needing.
We're talking about your food. We're not talking anything
All
else.
of it. I've needed all of it, though, to start with. I haven't had home health. I've had nothing.
Are you telling me that to start?
Initially, Dr. Now set him on an 800 calorie a day diet. It's clear that because of his rapid weight gain in such a short amount of time, James has got to have been eating 10,000 calories a day, 13 times what he should have been eating. Dr. Now then pins the blame on Lisa. Why won't you stop overfeeding him?
Why won't you stop overfeeding him?
I don't know what the issue is. I know, like I said, that he has cheated some, but I will not bring him nothing else.
Some is not some. Is every day and every hour and every meal.
She pleads with Dr. Now not to give up on him, and he agrees to give him one more chance, allowing him an additional hospital stay on an 800 calorie a day diet. But a month later, he's lost no weight and is up to 844 pounds. Dr. Now gives James an ultimatum: lose 100 pounds in 2 months on his own, or he's completely done with him. 2 months later, James is back in hospital. Dr. Now weighs him up, and the figure shows he hasn't lost any weight. As promised, Dr. Now refuses any further treatment and discharges him. If James ever wants to be considered for treatment again, he must weigh under 600 pounds. He's had every chance and opportunity to lose weight, and he hasn't even tried. The amount of resources that James has taken advantage of to help him have all been for nothing. James has failed, but he firmly believes it's due to no fault of his own. To make matters worse, Dr. Now predicts that James only has the rest of the year to live.
You're still not losing weight and you're gaining again.
I understand he had some ups and downs, but he's been really trying now, doctor.
I don't know what else we can do for you. I think the best thing for you is to go back to Kentucky. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I'm done. If you want to be considered at all ever again, when you show up, you need to be under 600 pounds. Okay? Goodbye.
Dr. Now must be the most patient man in history. As we find out from the follow-up episode featuring James, Where Are They Now?, he has been remitted to hospital following a somewhat successful stunt at weight loss. Again, James is placed on the scales, 770 pounds, 4 pounds down from his last hospital stay.
For the first time since you started this process, you lost weight on your own. And that's the only reason I'm considering allowing you back on the program.
Dr. Now keeps James in the hospital for another month on a 1,200 calorie diet where he loses over 130 pounds. It's incredibly frustrating to watch James lose hundreds of pounds with ease when he's kept in the hospital, just as easy as it is for him to gain it when he stays at home. Following his successful weight loss, Dr. Now agrees to send him home again, but this proves a failure yet again as he comes back to the hospital on weigh-in day and has gained another 50 pounds.
You do your part and he does his part, or I'm through with you. You understand this?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so I'm sick and tired of wasting my time coming here, bringing all the people working for you, and you do nothing. I'm offering you help, and the problem is that you abuse that help and you're lying about it. And you two keep wasting all the energy and resources given to you.
With nowhere else to turn, Dr. Now calls Adult Protective Services on Lisa. He claims that Lisa is endangering James's life through overfeeding and that he will die within a year if she continues. Lisa clings on to the notion that this is out of her control, even insisting that James's body doesn't burn calories.
She ain't giving me no food.
I couldn't
and
tell
the only
you
thing I'm
what-
eating is what she's bringing me.
Doctor, now, I think it has a lot. He does exercises with his arms. I help him with his legs.
She's lost 80 pounds, and I'm losing nothing. Something don't add up.
You don't think your weight has to do anything with your eating habit?
No, I don't.
So what do you think your weight come from? Thin air? And
We
you
want
wanted
his
to
life
do it-
different.
No, you're the one that you're hurting him, okay?
I'm not hurting him. I haven't gave him no food. I done told you that. But I'm telling you right now,
Anthony.
I have not gave him no food.
Okay, this
How
is
does she
all
lose 80
miracle,
pounds in-
right?
No, it's not a miracle. His body doesn't burn calories.
Lisa's intentions become increasingly more apparent as the episode nears the end, as her earlier statement, "If he starts to walk again, he won't need me," rings true here. Lisa intentionally keeps James bedbound in order to keep looking after him and keep cashing disability checks. Ironically, taking care of him is leading to his death. In a final push, Dr. Now presents James with a life or death ultimatum. Stay in hospital for 5 days without Lisa or leave treatment for good. Dr. Now is trying to show James just how much of a hindrance Lisa's behaviour is, but they both laugh in his face, and James chooses Lisa.
That your weight will be this weight if you're eating properly. You keep telling the same thing and you believe the same thing.
Won't you make somebody come watch me then?
No, it's simply, let's set her to stay 5 days, go have free time for her, and you stay here, let's see what happens.
James stays in the hospital and still doesn't lose any weight. Lisa finally admits, after Dr. Now's many accusations, that yes, she is sneaking food into the hospital for him to eat. The smug look on Lisa's face wouldn't last long, as unfortunately for James, on the 3rd of April in 2020, he was rushed to the hospital for a final time and tragically lost his life due to complications with sepsis, alongside a litany of other health complications. His family and TLC all released statements sharing how heartbroken they were, with many viewers sharing a controversial view on his untimely demise. Despite losing over £400 and becoming one of the most loved participants of my £600 life ever, due to the fact he never gave up and achieved his goals, James L.B. Bonner's story still ends in tragedy, because although he won the battle over his food addiction, he lost the battle of his mind, and his story is made even more heartbreaking when we see just how far he had come, as he starts out at 29 years old, over £600, and is actually missing a leg.
No one understands how hard it is to be over 600 pounds and missing a leg. Those two factors combined make getting around almost impossible. Right now, the prosthetic leg I use is barely able to hold my weight.
And every morning I have to fight to put a liner on over my stump. Then I have to be able to maintain my own balance. So I get shortness of breath from doing all the scooting and leaning up and all that. And it's pretty much impossible to ignore the pain and the aching and just the overall bad feeling, because my knees killing me, my back's killing me.
So my weight, it's keeping me from having a life.
What's important to mention here is that LB is still over £600 despite missing his leg, which would obviously contribute to his overall weight. So when we think about him being over £600, it's more dangerous in his personal case because of this. With his disability and super morbid obesity, LB is unable to work and his mother needs to look after him.
My dad works all day, so my mom's the one that takes care of me.
She comes out and gets my laundry for me. She comes in and cleans my house. Without my mom, I'd be lost, because there's no way I can stay on my feet long enough to get it done.
I do everything for LB because he's my baby. He's my youngest, and I would do anything in the world for my son. That's how much I love him.
Karen clearly seems like a great loving mother, but it really seems like she's killing him with perceived kindness.
When LB wants to get sodas and snack cakes and potato chips, it makes me feel awful. What am I supposed to do? Tell him no? To me, that's the only thing left that he has.
I know my mom wants me to stop eating as much as I do. But it's funny, if I don't ask for something, she won't say anything, and she gets it for me. But if I do ask for something, she gives me this look or this tone. then she gets passive aggressive about it. And I don't need that from her. Will you grab a thing of the pepperoni pizza pockets?
Is that what you want?
You don't have to turn around and be a smart ass about it like that.
All right.
It seems like there's also a bit of manipulation going on here too. Karen will fill her trolley with unhealthy snacks, but the minute LB actually asks for something unhealthy, she uses it as an opportunity to be passive aggressive towards him, making snide comments that he shouldn't eat stuff like that. It's a pretty silly way to act, to be honest, as she judges LB for what he eats, trying to make him feel bad about it, but then she doesn't try at all to get him to eat anything that's healthier. She even fills the trolley with unhealthy stuff anyway without having been asked to by LB. The trip to the supermarket was pretty stressful for LB, and the only thing he wants to do to feel better is to eat and eat.
And I get so emotional that all I can think about is getting something to drink and eat. So that's pretty much how most days go for me. This shouldn't be my life, and this shouldn't be her life. And if I could go back in time and change the things that happened that led me here, I would do it in a heartbeat.
LB had a pretty happy early childhood with a big family who showed him lots of affection. He was also adopted as a baby, as his parents already had 3 daughters and desperately wanted a son. He bonded especially well with his auntie, but when the main way she would show affection was through food, young LB learned some pretty bad habits.
I was always excited to go stay with my aunt and uncle, because every time I'd get down there, the first thing she'd do was go open up the cabinets and say, "What you want?" It was always beef sticks or pig in a blankets or snack cakes. I guess that's when I started associating that comforted feeling with food.
As LB's aunt would look after him a lot, he gained a lot of weight pretty quickly, getting up to 150 pounds by the time he was just 8 years old. They had a very close relationship, and LB looked up to his Aunt Dora like she was his other mother, but when she found out she had cancer and unfortunately passed away just a year later, LB was devastated.
I'm 29 now, and it's still the hardest loss I've ever went through. And after my mom too died, I'd probably eat a pack of hot dogs every 2 days. Food was the only thing that helped, but the pain would come back, so I'd start eating again. And anytime I'd just kind of have that blah, empty feeling, after my parents went to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock, I'd go into the refrigerator and I'd eat whatever was in there. And so I just kept gaining, and I hit 200 when I was 12, and that's when my weight started preventing me from doing normal things. I remember we went to sign me up for football, and I was too big. I was over the weight limit, and I could just see in my dad's face that I had disappointed him.
The loss of his aunt was too much for LB to handle, and he turned to food as it was the only thing that would help the pain, even if just for a little while. LB's relationship with food got even more complicated when he started high school, as he ended up joining the school's football team. As LB was very tall, his weight made him a massive force in the team, and he was apparently a really good player. As a result, his weight was almost encouraged, and coupled with the praise from his dad with his wins, LB didn't really feel the need to lose any weight. Now, I don't know much about American football, but it seems like in certain positions, and judging from LB's story, the bigger you are, the better it is for the sport really, as long as you're still fit and can run. And as a result from this positive experience with food, LB kept gaining weight, getting to over 400 pounds by the time he was 17. But when his weight started to affect his health, things totally changed for him as he was forced to quit his football team. Losing the praise from his dad with not being able to compete anymore left a huge gap in his life, so he turned to food even more than before as a way to cope. But it wasn't just food that LB found comfort in, but alcohol too. In a single year, LB gained another 100 pounds from beers and burgers. His relationship with his dad continued to suffer too, as his dad wanted to teach LB his trade of being a successful foreman, but being 500 pounds, a manual labour job is pretty much impossible, so LB felt like a total letdown on all accounts. To make matters even worse, LB had a horrendous accident, one that nearly took his life, but actually ended up taking his leg instead.
And his big dream for me was he wanted me to learn the flooring business, for him to be able to pass that down to me one day. My weight won't let me learn flooring. But as I was gaining weight in my early 20s, one of the days that I regret the most happened. I was supposed to be at a Mother's Day lunch, and one of my best friends, he wanted to go ride four-wheelers that weekend. I knew it wasn't a good idea at my weight, but I wanted to have some fun. The last trail we were on is where I ended up getting into my accident, shattering a bunch of stuff in my foot. And after a failed surgery attempt, I ended up with a bone infection, and it left me with only a few options. And The option we went with was amputation.
When LB hurt his leg and the surgery failed, it was just too painful. And he said, Mommy's, I'm going to be better off without the leg. And he thought when he got it amputated that it was going to be better. But it was hard for him to get around, and it wasn't what he thought it was going to be.
I was tired of feeling like I made the complete wrong decision because my parents had to start doing everything for me and taking care of me like I was a kid again, especially my mom. So I mostly just stay at home and lay in my bed or watch TV on the couch. And I don't see a whole lot of people, except when my family has our monthly cookout. But even then, I don't really want to face anyone because I just feel like such a huge disappointment, letdown, and I feel like my parents completely regret the day that they signed adoption papers on me.
Honestly, LB's story is already really heartbreaking, and it looks like he's struggling to cope with so much, and he's likely suffering from depression. He's become a total recluse, ashamed to be himself because of the burden he's put on his family.
When LB finally comes out of his room or his hiding, I guess we all feel like we're trying to comfort LB, and food is one of the ways that comforts him.
Thank you. When I'm in a real dark place where I turn to food for kind of that safe, comforted feeling, it's not uncommon for me to eat the portions of 2 or 3 grown men. And I'll keep eating or drinking until I get that full feeling.
I think emotionally he has just given up on life. And if giving my brother food is the only thing that will make him happy at the point in his life now where he is, then that's what we all do as a family.
I never thought enabling LB would lead to what it is now. I feel like he's not going to live long. I worry about him every night. My wife has to get up and go check on him every morning, make sure he's alive, because you don't know one morning next week he's going to be there or not.
I need help. And it's pretty much life or death at this point. And if I can't find some way to stop all this and change, it won't be long before I'm gone.
LB's family are in such a tricky situation with him. He's clearly depressed, and food is the only thing that makes him happy, so that's what they get for him. They don't know how else they can help him. I can tell that they all love LB and want the best for him, but it seems like they are just totally out of options here. If LB wants to change, it's going to have to come from within himself. And thankfully, LB does decide to make a change, and he makes an appointment with Dr. Now to get some control over his weight. To do that though, he needs to fly 3 hours with his mother to see Dr. Now in person. But with his immense anxiety, the journey to Houston is going to be a massive struggle for LB.
It may require a second seat, so I'm going to add that in.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Your leg's going to be worn out by the time we get through.
I'm feeling exhausted, and I'm just ready for this to be over with. It's been a while since I've been around this many people, so my anxiety's just getting worse. And I'm really ready to just be on the plane and be out of view from all these people, because I just feel like a freak on display for everybody right now.
You're sweating, LB, so bad.
I feel like I'm having an anxiety attack. I feel like my damn heart's about to beat out my chest. I thought everything was kind of hitting on the way here, but now it's really getting real now. So now it's just a wait to see what it's like once we're on the plane.
I really feel for LB here. Because he's been inside for so long, being around people is just going to be terrifying for him. Especially when he feels like people will stare at him. Because he's not just over 600 pounds, he's 6'4" and only has one leg, and that's not something you see every day. The flight is really painful for LB as he struggles with his weight, his height in the row, and his stump. The pressure of his weight pressing down on his amputated leg must be excruciating.
I'm really hurting right now. There's a lot of pressure on my leg and my whole body. My stump's absolutely killing me right now. Imagine having 2 bones just squared off and having just a piece of muscle and a piece of skin over the end of it. And imagine having 600 pounds come down on it on like a 1 to 10 scale. It's like an 8.
To deal with the pain, LB orders a huge burger at the airport, literally right before his appointment with Dr. Now. Now, normally I would be harsh on him and say you shouldn't have a burger before a weight loss appointment. However, as this is his only way of dealing with the anxiety, I will let this one slide this once. Finally arriving at Dr. Now's office for his appointment though, LB gets the chance to see his current weight for the first time in years.
It's been a while since I've been on a scale, and I don't want to know how big I've gotten, so I'm not looking forward to seeing that number come up. Seeing that makes me feel worthless, and it's a validation of how bad I really need this help.
Now, like I mentioned before, obviously LB is missing a leg, So the impact of his weight is even worse here. If you factor in what he would weigh with his leg, he would be much closer to 700 pounds.
I can't believe I've let myself get up that high.
I can't either, LB, and it's just hard to believe.
When Dr. Now probes a little bit deeper into LB's habits, we get to find out the actual volume of what he's consuming, which comes out a bit of a shock to Karen.
I got a bad habit of binge eating, binge drinking, eating real late at night.
So what do you eat when you do that?
I eat a lot of fried food, a burger, or wings.
Okay. Do you get one?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're just getting bigger and bigger. And it must be difficult for you to get around because there's going to be a lot of strain in that prosthetic with your weight.
Yeah, there's only one company in the country that was willing to build me a foot. And they've told me several times that if I gain any more weight, there's not going to be a foot available for me.
So if you don't change now, it's going to be a much worse situation if you are immobile.
If I don't turn my life around, I mean, I'm doing nothing but, destroying myself and destroying my family as well.
LB has a unique situation, being the size he is and having a prosthetic leg. So it's imperative that he start to lose weight and avoids becoming immobile. Because once he does, his body will start to get even worse much faster.
One of the things that Dr. Now also asks LB to do is to stop drinking. There's so many empty calories in alcohol that will be contributing to LB's weight gain so much. Cutting out alcohol can have a massive impact on your weight, especially if you're drinking high-calorie drinks like beer every day. In the UK, Ed Sheeran lost 5 stone in just a few months from just cutting out beer, and I actually did sober October and managed to lose a bit of weight too. The impact alcohol has on your weight and your body is no joke, and it is often a huge reason as to why people struggle to lose weight. They'll stick to the diet all week, they'll eat clean, but then on the weekend they'll have a blowout and have 3,000 calories in beer just on the weekend, ruining all the progress. LB drinks multiple beers every single day, so cutting this out should have a massive impact on his weight loss. My only concern is that he relies on alcohol quite a bit, so he may struggle with not being able to have it and end up overeating instead. Dr. Now gives LB a month to lose 50 pounds, which is going to take some serious commitment, but at his weight is very doable.
After coming home from seeing Dr. Now, I cleaned all the bad food out from the house and I got rid of the beer. I drank some of it because I couldn't waste it, but it's gone now and I'm sticking to the diet.
But LB also has another struggle to contend with, as his prosthetic leg is beginning to break because of his weight.
What's your body weight now?
642.
Wow, dude. Your foot was ordered when you were in the 500-pound range, right? Yep. So you're technically way over the weight limit on this foot, and that's probably where the squeak's coming from. I wouldn't be surprised if I took it back here and took it apart and it's broken. So you get any heavier, man, I may not even be able to get a foot to go on you. This is getting to the point where this is getting pretty daggum serious right now.
Yeah.
Give me a few minutes and I'll be right back, okay?
All right.
The first time I met LB Bonner, he was probably around 520, 525 pounds. First thing we talked about with LB was he needed to get the weight down. It's been 3.5, 4 years now. And if he doesn't do something about his weight, it's going to get to where I'm not even going to be able to help him.
Unfortunately for LB, it's just a matter of time before his prosthetic leg breaks, as he's already well over the weight limit for it. Once it breaks, he can't have another one made, as the material simply can't hold his weight. This is why it's so important for LB to lose the weight now and quickly, because if his leg breaks, he'll become immobile. It'll be much harder to lose weight when you can't walk. But with the bad news comes the old habits, as LB stops off for some food on the way home.
I know it ain't good for me, but whenever I get bad news like this, the first thing I always want to do is go get something to eat and drink. Yes, ma'am. Let me get a Bacon King combo with a large sweet tea. Let me add a 10-piece nugget to it, too. And I need an order of chicken fries, too. I feel like if I go get something to eat or drink, then it's going to take that edge off of feeling so disappointed or upset by the news. Thank you, bud. Because I feel like no matter what, I can never get ahead. Something always goes wrong. I know this is my last chance, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes and work hard. But it just seems like every time I try, something happens that sets me back. Because if my leg is that close to giving out, then I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to meet the goals I need. And then there's no way that I can lose this weight and get my life back. That sucks. It's on there now. So I'm just feeling hopeless right now.
A few weeks later, LB is back at Dr. Now's office for a weigh-in and a checkup.
My goal was to lose at least 50 pounds today. So if I did that, I'd be at or below 592 today. And I'm about to find out if I did that. I'm a little disappointed that I missed it by a little bit, but at least I'm moving in the right direction. And I'm hoping Dr. Now sees how hard I tried.
Now, despite the fast food on the way home, he did lose 50 pounds, and it's a great start for LB. And it proves he's shown some commitment to his weight loss goal. Dr. Now is also pleased with his progress, so he admits LB for weight loss surgery, as long as he passes all the medical tests for it. LB also needs to move to Houston to be closer to Dr. Now for his surgery, but that means he needs someone to move with him to help him recover. Karen is obviously the best person to go with him, but she doesn't exactly make LB feel good about it.
It's just too damn much to deal with.
No, it's not.
I'm at the point I don't care. I had it in here, it fit perfect.
The table from right over here, right?
Dad. Mom's already on a rampage. You all right?
No,
What's going on?
I'm doing this for you. You know, I'm leaving everything behind. I'm not going to have my daughters. And all you want to do is bitch at me all the time. You don't want to help me.
That's not the
You
case
said
at all.
it. Did you? You keep telling me.
Everything I've said I was going to do has gotten done.
No, LB. I just need help and I need
I'm trying to
support.
help you, Mom, but you're not exactly have been easy to deal with through this. You know, words can't express how thankful I am that you're willing to make this change for me. But you've got to try to relax a little bit.
Well, honey, you see what time it is? It's 1:30.
Okay.
It is. Wait a minute. Let me finish, and then you can say what you got to say. It's 1:30. I still have laundry to do, ironing to do. I have to finish packing. I still have to go over things with your father as far as the bills and what comes out every month and all the codes and the passwords. I have to take time for that. You understand? I have things that I want to do.
Just know that I love you, and I'm going to take care of you when we get there. A year's going to fly by.
LB, I have raised you for 29 years.
See, this is
and
what...
you
this
ain't
is-
never told me
this
you're
is-
going to take care of me.
This is what pisses me and Dad off. You make us out to be like we're damn worthless. You belittle us every time we try to say something or every time we volunteer to do something and make it out to be like we can't even wash our own asses. Damn, I try to come in here and pour my emotions out and I get this.
It seems like Karen spends a lot of her time caring for her family, so the move halfway across the country really is unsettling for her. But at the same time, it's not really fair to take it out on LB, as he's clearly grateful for her coming to support him, and she's his biggest support system. And LB will definitely need a lot of support from his family, especially as his anxiety levels rise when the time for his weight loss surgery finally comes around.
My anxiety level is definitely pretty high right now. But I'm ready for this. And I'm thankful I had this chance to get my life back. I'm just extremely anxious to get it over with.
LB has continued to do well over the past couple months.
Dr. Now has given LB a gastric sleeve, which reduces the size of his stomach by 90%. As LB's food intake will be significantly limited with having a smaller stomach, it should hopefully speed up his weight loss dramatically, as he will feel fuller quicker and for longer, which should reduce his cravings. After the surgery, this starts to work initially, and LB does start to lose weight, but the cravings come back a lot quicker than he expected. For LB, he spent almost his entire life eating himself to the point of sickness, and that is so difficult to shake. Things are made even worse when Karen starts bringing food and drinks home to tempt LB, and tensions rise between them as LB thinks it's totally unfair that she does this, and honestly, I have to agree with LB.
Watered down beer or a beer and some ice?
A lot of ice and beer, watered down. Just gonna relax.
You don't think that since I'm making some changes that maybe you should work on making some too?
No, I need a couple beers in the evening or a few. It makes me stress-free. I don't go crazy with mine.
Well, I mean, I used to drink to relieve stress too, and you look at what it turned into.
Well, that's the one thing that I just enjoyed.
You don't ever think about how it makes me feel coming for the fact that I have a drinking problem for there to be beer in the refrigerator?
I have been through an awful lot of stress over the years.
I'm just saying that there's other, like I'm having to find other ways to deal with my stress.
Well, I'm glad that you are. You have to control Your habit. You're the alcoholic, not me.
So you do think I had a drinking problem?
Oh, hell, you drink liquor.
I drank beer too.
But you drink gallons of liquor like this and turned them up. It wasn't just, a few beers. You drink a gallon of liquor. Listen, I'm not even going to worry or either carry on this conversation anymore. I don't feel like it. Oh, my God. I'm done.
It's a tricky situation though, as Karen is obviously struggling with living in Houston and being away from her family, so she's having a beer to relieve some of that stress. And we'll not talk about having ice in the beer because that is a crime in the UK. But do you think it's bad that she's having a beer when she knows LB is an alcoholic? Karen is sacrificing a lot for LB, but she makes it obvious that she is and tries to make him feel guilty about it all the time. If she wanted a drink so bad, I think she could have went out to a local bar and got 1 or 2 beers there. It would make it less obvious to LB rather than drinking right in front of him. I actually think Karen is a little bit abusive towards LB. She makes everything about herself and almost appears to enjoy guilt-tripping LB and making him feel bad. It's not just me who thinks this way either, as other people who've watched the show have commented the same thing. What a toxic and passive-aggressive person his mom is. He's so repressed from growing up in toxicity. His mom always made it about her. She always guilted him. Karen even says that she's the only one in the family that still cares for LB, and that many other mothers would have given up on him years ago if they were in the same position. For me, LB's depression and struggle is so obvious. I don't understand how Karen can think this way about him. As another month goes by, the tension between LB and Karen continues to grow. She keeps bringing in more unhealthy food just for herself, even bringing in more alcohol than she was before too. They can't really talk about it either, because they are both so hot-headed and prone to aggression, they just end up fighting. And we'll get to see what type of impact this has on LB's progress overall.
Dr. Now told me I should lose 40 pounds the first month after surgery, and then 30 pounds every month after that. So I should be around 450 today. It's not 70 pounds, but it's weight loss. And hopefully Dr. Now thinks it's good enough, because I'm doing the best I can.
Clearly, LB's weight loss is slowing down. He lost more weight in the first month without having the surgery, so he really should be losing the weight a lot quicker by now. When confronted by Dr. Now, Karen completely defends LB as she claims he's hardly been eating anything. If this was the case, he would have lost more weight. So clearly she's either lying to defend him, or LB is finding some way to sneak extra food without being seen.
She over-exaggerates the little amount that I'm taking in, but...
He gets one of these little protein, little milk things. He takes it to bed with him at night. I go in there, he's drinking about this much. That's all he has eaten all day long. And Dr. Now, I've been with him 24 hours a day, and I know he is not eating and he is not drinking but this much.
Well, he didn't stay on track, so you're wrong, and you don't need to push him to eat more. So give him a little room and see what happens.
Well, he's having headaches too.
The headaches are because of you.
Oh, it is not. It is not, because we're not even together during the day. You're always in your room.
You just said you're with me 24/7. You know what I'm taking in.
I know what you're taking in your bed.
Damn.
All right, you're not drinking any alcohol or anything like that, huh? That's not part of your liquid diet.
No.
That's part of mine now.
Yeah, that's...
So he got you...
Because he drives me that way.
He drives you to drinking. I got it. Okay.
The tension between the two makes Dr. Now pretty uncomfortable, as they are just arguing right in front of him. Dr. Now suggests that LB sees a therapist to overcome some of his emotional issues, as they play a huge part in his weight gain and inability to stick to the diet. Hopefully, this will also help with his depression, as he's clearly suffering a lot.
LB's weight loss over the past 2 months isn't bad, but it's clearly starting to slow, which means his emotions are coming to the surface right now, because surgery has changed his dynamic with food. So he needs to start dealing with those issues, and they mostly seem to revolve around his mother. So they need a lot of help before things get worse between them and he starts to gain again. So let's see a therapist, because this is something you need to do, okay?
Okay.
During the therapy sessions, LB shares that he wants Karen to go back home because he can't stand to be around her, and their constant arguments make it difficult for him to stick to his diet. As much as I agree with them separating for a bit, I do worry about his mental health. It's not normal to be isolated from your entire family halfway across the country, especially as LB doesn't have a social life in Texas either. But because he's lost a good amount of weight, he is more mobile than he was previously, so he can take care of himself physically without any help. After Karen leaves, LB gets a burst of motivation, He really sticks to his diet, starts walking more, and even starts riding his bike. I think without Karen living with him, he can just exist without feeling judgment for everything he does, and his progress really shows when he goes for his next weigh-in.
Today I'm going to see where my progress is at, and if I hit my weight loss goals to get me below 392. I'm happy with that. I knew I was doing well, but that's a little better than I thought. I'm guessing the doc's going to be happy with that.
Hey, LB. All right, you lost 102 pounds over the last few months.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
LB makes amazing progress as he loses even more than Dr. Now asks him to. He's over 100 pounds away from his final goal, but if he carries on this way, he'll get there easily. By the end of his episode, LB loses enough weight to be fitted with a new prosthetic leg that he can run with, something he hasn't been able to do in years. And it's fair to say he is completely overjoyed.
I'm exhausted, but that was awesome. I never thought I'd be able to do that again. A year ago, I was living in my parents' garage, over 600 pounds, and hardly ever leaving the couch.
After the show, LB continued to lose weight, sharing progress pictures on Facebook with his closest fans. It seemed to all be going well for LB, but the truth is that you never really know what's going on behind the scenes, or in this case, behind the cameras. Less than a year after filming, LB unfortunately died by suicide after he shot himself at the side of a road in August 2018. Before his death, he posted a cryptic message on Facebook. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shown me love and support throughout my journey. I've realised a few things over the last few days, and it's time that I face my demons head on. It's clear that the struggles LB had when he was on the show didn't go away when he started losing the weight. And it's honestly devastating it came to this. LB was one of the nicest stars on the show, and you could tell he felt so guilty about the pressure he was putting on his entire family. He was never rude or demanding, just someone who was really suffering and didn't know how to cope. But it doesn't end there, as LB's family actually sued the production company behind My 600 Pound Life. His family sued for gross misconduct, seeking well over $1 million in damages. They made several claims against the production company, all relating to the show, causing LB significant distress that ultimately led to his taking his own life. A few of the claims were that the company didn't take LB's cries for help seriously, like when he told the producer that he was in a really dark place, and the producer simply said fake it till you make it, completely ignoring the fact that he was struggling. Another claim was that the company forced LB to shave his beard and return home to South Carolina to reshoot his moving scene after they didn't film the initial move. Clearly, the production company wanted to get the best shots regardless of where LB was currently living or if he had enough money to travel. On top of this, his family claimed that LB was in a lot of debt, with a lot of costs associated with the weight loss program. He was only given one free therapy session, having to pay for the rest if he wanted to do more. The family also claimed that Media, the production company, didn't pay for all the charges associated with LB's weight loss surgery, even though they promised they would pay for it in full. LB's health was also neglected after the show, the family claims, due to Media providing no aftercare for LB, as his teeth began to fall out and his vision became impaired due to the rapid weight loss. As of now, it's unclear whether the family won the case or whether they're still fighting it out in court. And remember, all of those claims are just that. They're all just accusations that haven't been proved. Now, looking past the lawsuit, it's hard to argue against the case that LB's episode is one of the most heartbreaking on My 600 Pound Life. And he's one of my personal favourite participants for his determination to lose the weight, despite all of the odds being against him. And I just hope that this episode inspires many more people to lose weight. Now, since LB's death, even more stars have actually lost their lives during or after the filming of the show. From soiling himself in Dr. Now's office to standing on a scale that couldn't even register his weight. Sean Milligan was not just the heaviest patient ever in My 600 Pound Life, but potentially the heaviest man alive at one point. Bedbound for years, he was trapped in his own house, slowly fed to almost 1,000 pounds by his enabler mother. And although his mother just wanted to care for him, she was doing the opposite, and this story does not have a happy ending. This is a tale of dependency, trauma, and addiction, and we are looking at all three of Sean Milligan's My 600 Pound Life episodes, and we start at the very beginning.
Every day I wake up and have to face the reality of what my life has become. I'm so big now I can hardly move. All I can do on my own is scooch to the edge of my bed, go to the bathroom, and see if my mom's awake. I can get up, but I can only walk a few steps. So I just stay here in this bed no matter what. I can't do anything for myself anymore.
Completely bedbound, Sean is in an awful state. He can't do anything for himself and relies completely on his mother to look after him. Sean is even too big for clothes, so he's just draped a bedsheet over himself, much like the infamous James King does. When you're over 1,000 pounds and bedbound, there has to be someone who's enabling the entire process. For other stars on the show, they can definitely get to over 600 pounds themselves, but beyond this, there is always someone behind them who's encouraging this behaviour and bringing them food. Some family members of the stars overfeed out of love, as they simply don't understand they're causing harm through these massive portions and constant snacks. Or some more devious carers want to keep their loved ones in a morbidly obese state, as it allows them to receive a carer's allowance from the government and stay out of work. Whatever the case, there's almost always an enabler feeding the star behind the scenes, and in Sean's case, we're going to find out who that is and why they do it.
Mom, how you doing, sweetie? Good. I just like Sean has to just totally be taken care of from head to toe. You know, everything has to be done for him.
Renee, Sean's mother, is his primary caretaker, looking after meals and some aspects of his personal hygiene. But as Renee is an older parent and because Sean is so big, they also have to rely on an additional caretaker to come in and help with his bathing routine, and also prepare more meals. For people who are super morbidly obese like Sean, hygiene is one of the most important aspects of their life. When you have so much excess fat, it essentially pulls and stretches the skin, causing tears if unwashed, and then become infected and then become extremely dangerous.
Sean has gotten so big, I can't handle cleaning him on my own anymore. And it's really important that he stays clean because he gets open sores real easily.
Sean can only stand for about 5 seconds, using his reinforced walker to hold him, while his mother and carer wash his back and legs. It must feel absolutely awful, being so limited by your body and not being able to leave your own bed.
I'm a prisoner. All I want is out. And I never really thought my life would end up like this.
For Sean, it's important to look at his circumstances growing up to get a better understanding of how he ended up gaining almost 1,000 pounds. He can remember in his early years struggling with his emotions, lashing out at people when he became angry, even resorting to violence. And this was due to him having a really troublesome relationship with his dad at home.
My dad would get angry at me, and he had a tendency to get in my face and yell at me. He would do things like back me into a corner, and I was just worried what he might do when he lost it. It was scary. I didn't know how to deal with it. So I would eat, and suddenly I felt a lot better. In that moment, nothing else mattered.
While Sean was overeating to feel better about the situation, Renee was also encouraging him to eat, as she also has a complicated relationship with food herself.
I probably overcompensated in a lot of ways. I couldn't go to the store without bringing him home a treat. I have an eating issue myself, and it's hard to fix in someone else what's wrong with you.
I started putting on a lot of weight, and by the time I was 9, I was probably 150 pounds. And then when I was 10 years old, my mom and dad split up.
I realized it wasn't healthy for Sean to stay around his father, but the divorce really had a hard effect on Sean. It really bothered him.
I felt like it was my fault. Felt like my family had fallen apart because of me. So I kept going to food to deal with those feelings. I would get out of school and my mom would be at work, so I'd just come home and go straight to the fridge. I'd eat anything and everything I could get my hands on. And that's when the weight gain started building.
It seems like because of Renee, Sean's eating habits have just multiplied, and he's had no one to teach him how to have a healthy relationship with food. Now, I do sympathise with Renee, because ultimately her intentions are good, and she's just trying to make her son feel better. She also probably had no one to ever teach her how to eat healthy either, and she's just passing down the only habits that she knows. But at the same time, Sean was almost double what a healthy weight should be from a young age. He was clearly morbidly obese even in school, and Renee should have educated herself on the topic. And perhaps Sean wouldn't have been in the situation he's in today if she did. Sean continued to gain about 50 pounds every single year, eventually reaching over 400 pounds by the time he was in high school. This level of weight gain is so dangerous, and honestly, I'm surprised Sean is even alive at this point, having been this heavy for so long. To make matters worse, in his senior year of high school, Sean fell down some stairs and severely injured his leg. Recovery was hard, and because of his size, he just became bedbound.
It's been 8 years since that happened. And I've been trapped in this bed, and I've been getting bigger and bigger. To the point now, I don't even know what I weigh. And I'm scared to find out. My knee has never fully healed. So I just kind of sit, watch TV, knit, play games. I miss being able to do simple things for myself. It's just not possible anymore. And I know it's because of my eating.
And I mean, off topic, but I would have thought at this point CPS or someone would have came in to protect Sean from his own mother, because they could see the writing on the wall. He was already that big, and then becoming bedbound, he's only going to get bigger. Being bedbound is incredibly dangerous for someone who's already obese. It limits the calories that they're able to burn due to a lack of exercise, and it gives them no distractions to not eat. When you're stuck at home all day, in bed, food is always available. If Sean doesn't work, it's not that he has to wait until the end of his shift to have a snack. He can just get it right there and then in the middle of the day, or just any time he wants. But this situation's really taken a toll on Sean, and his life now constantly revolves around food, and it's just all he can think about.
For me, eating can be an all-day thing. I keep snacks under my covers just to make sure I have something nearby when I want to eat. Hey, Mom, I'm probably going to need a little snack.
Sean has no appetite control. He's hungry incessantly. What do you want?
Just a couple burgers and soda. Maybe medium fry. Oh, could you give me one of those caramel sundaes?
Sure, no problem. Sometimes it's just easier to give him what he wants, and unfortunately, I do that all the time. Okie dokie. I've had people tell me, you don't have to give him food just because he says he's hungry. But I'm a mom, and when your kids say, I'm hungry, Mom, feed your kid.
It's no surprise that Sean is always hungry, because in order to get to his size, he must be eating at least 10,000 calories a day. And as Renee explains, when he's hungry, he just needs food, and he needs it fast. The volume of food that Sean eats would take hours to prepare, so the easiest thing for Renee to do is to go to drive-thrus with a handwritten list and reel off his mammoth order.
Because Sean likes to eat pretty regularly, fast food really is pretty much the easiest thing to do. Great. Thank you very much. He has very little in life to really look forward to. So my coming home with something is a very big event for him.
Food has kind of become my comfort. Kind of like a child with their blankie.
Got the bag.
When I'm sad or when I'm stressed, when I'm just plain down in the dumps, I turn to food. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but at least I know food is there. Losing weight is the only way I can survive this. But I can't stop eating. I'm done.
You done?
Can I have a couple pieces of yours?
Sean is killing himself slowly. If we don't change, I don't see Sean living more than 6 months. All right, kiddo. Eat what you want to eat.
Something has to change. I'm killing myself more and more each day, and I'm tired of just existing. I want to have a family. I would love to have friends. I can't even do that now. I need to lose weight just so I can live. I have no other options. And if I don't, I'm dead.
Sean's behaviour towards food has been incredibly damaging, and his addiction is stealing his life away. He hasn't left his house in over 8 years and only enjoys eating food. I'm honestly surprised that Renee has let it go on for this long. How can she see Sean eating himself to death in front of her and not only stand back and watch, but actually just encourage the behaviour? Renee infantilizes Sean, treating him like a baby in a crib where he wails whenever he needs her. I think she's obsessed with feeling needed by him and loves to feel like a good mother by just giving him whatever he wants. But the fact of the matter is that Renee could have stopped feeding him at any point. He's bedbound anyway, so it's not that he could have just got out of bed and made the food himself. And many other Redditors agree on this take too. I blame the mother. She worked against the doctor. She fed her precious child after a sprained ankle to the point of no return. She could have put a stop to it at any time. She was selfish and downright evil for encouraging him to eat so much and being inactive for years. 2 weeks later, Sean and his mother have to make the difficult decision to move to Houston for Dr. Now's treatment. The journey there means that this will be the first time that Sean has left the house in over 8 years. The trip will take around 30 to 40 hours depending on how long Sean can stand to be in the back of a van for. Flying is absolutely out of the question due to his size and the associated health risks, so he has to travel on a mattress in the back of a van.
I'm very worried about that. If I fall, it'll be near knee popped. Ow. I'm leaving everything I know to save my life.
Look at this guy.
He needs to experience life. That's what I hope comes out of all this.
There you go.
Good.
Jake,
Help me with my leg. 3, 2,
1. There you go.
This is by far the biggest risk my mom and I have ever taken.
Good job. Just
at this point. And then no matter what I do or what help I get, I'm still going to be dead soon.
The trip is quite complicated, as obviously Sean is unable to walk and use the public toilets, so they have to create a makeshift toilet in the back of the van.
I had to go to the bathroom, and it's a lot more complicated to do simple things I would do at home. I'm stuck! Oh!
My shoulder into
it. Oh, buddy!
No, okay. I hate to see my child in so much pain, but I know this is to help him.
I'm just done with this drive. I want to be in my own bed again.
And even on the way down to see Dr. Now, the bad habits don't seem to be slowing down, as they stop countless times at fast food drive-thrus. Once Sean arrives at the hospital, Dr. Now will see how far Sean can walk and what the state of his body is, as Sean doesn't even know his own weight, as he hasn't stepped on a scale in years. So it'll be the first time he learns what his actual weight is.
Sean?
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
How was your trip?
Interesting.
All right. Right now, Sean doesn't look like he's very concerned about his health. He's clearly at least 800 pounds from looks of it, and he has swelling of entire left leg and deformity of left foot. Let's bring him in. But Sean has some mobility, which is good.
You okay?
But he can't walk too far, and he still needs to be in a wheelchair. So we get him inside and see how he's doing.
Being wheeled around the hospital is the most movement Sean has experienced in years, so he's struggling with the change quite a bit.
Please stop! I can't go any further. Stop!
Somebody take that. Thank you.
Sean, you feeling okay?
No, I'm in extreme pain.
What's the matter?
Everything. I'm not used to sitting in a wheelchair.
Okay, you don't want to go any further. I will examine you here.
I've had to do more in the last 20, 15 minutes than I've had to in a while. Extreme.
Sean is throwing a little tantrum because he's uncomfortable in his wheelchair. He's likely used to getting his way with that. He lives with his mother, and I don't think it's hard to start to understand their unhealthy dynamic.
After examining Sean, Dr. Now speaks to his mother, where he lays out some home truths about how her behaviour has been killing him over the past few years.
And the reality is, Sean must be taking in at least 20 to 30,000 calories a day. And that is because his mother bringing it to him. You're killing him right now. This has to stop. This is a very unhealthy dynamic between them.
Renee loves that Sean is dependent on him, so it'll be incredibly difficult to stick to the diet, as the desired outcome is that Sean is able to become independent again and start looking after himself, the exact opposite of where Renee wants him to be. And we see this when Sean unfortunately has an embarrassing accident in the middle of the hospital.
What?
Sean is used to his mother completely taking care of him. As long as she does everything for him, Sean has no reason to leave. And she controls him with the food. We have to start making drastic changes with him, starting with his home situation.
It's clear that Renee kind of enjoys doing these types of tasks for Sean, even though he's a 28-year-old man who clearly should be able to go to the toilet by himself. And we see the physical effect this has had on Sean when he finally steps onto the scales. But there's one small problem.
All right, the scale said over the limit, so this scale goes only to 800 pounds.
As Sean is over max capacity for the standing scales, which for reference many other stars do use, so Sean is exceeding them by quite a lot, he has to go on a special bed scale.
All right, we're gonna get you in the bed and check your weight. Looks like you're 919 pounds. You may be the heaviest person alive right now. This is not a good place to be. At your weight, it's a miracle that you're alive. Both Sean and his mom claim they're ready to make change.
The fact that Sean is 919 pounds makes him not only the biggest person we've ever covered on the channel, but also the biggest person ever on my 600 pound life. He's so large that the producers could have gotten away with creating an entirely new show just for him. After his examination at the hospital, Sean is sent back to the temporary apartment in Houston, with the goal of losing over 100 pounds in the next few months. The diet plan which is given to Renee states that Sean can only eat 800 800 calories a day, but as he's been eating well over 10,000, maybe even 20 to 30,000 a day already, this will be an extreme drop for him.
Sean hasn't really adapted to the new diet just yet, but we're trying. Sean has the big appetite. He just wants to eat constantly. Never seems like he's going to get full. And if he's hungry, eat.
It's really annoying me that Renee is moving around in a wheelchair, when as far as I know, she doesn't actually have any problems that require her to use one, apart from being overweight herself. She also states that when Sean's hungry, he needs to eat something, implying that she's often going outside the calorie restrictions to feed him. But the thing is, Sean doesn't actually need to eat just because he's hungry. He's eaten enough food over the past 8 years to last him a lifetime, so he really will be fine if he doesn't eat anything at all. But Renee is letting him indulge in a craving now and then, or maybe all the time. Totally going off track from the diet plan.
Today I was craving a burger, and I think I have to be able to enjoy food just a little. The doctor wants me on 800 calories, and I have no idea what that would be in actual food. Actually, I think that 800 is a bit extreme, but I've cut back a lot. I'm trying to keep it down to one burger or fast food meal a day. So I feel like it's a good compromise to show the doctor I can do this, and I hope I'm making good progress.
Why on earth are Sean and Renee just not sticking to the diet? So what if Sean thinks 800 calories is extreme? Being nearly 1,000 pounds is extreme, and Dr. Now is trying to save his life. I can never understand when the stars think they know better than Dr. Now, the man whose job it is literally treating super morbidly obese patients every single day.
Sean and I did try to keep to the doctor's diet, but we didn't feel comfortable putting him on that low of a calorie diet. But I really do feel Sean is doing better now.
Crazy how even though Renee didn't feel comfortable putting Sean on the 800 calorie diet, she didn't reach out to Dr. Now for reassurance, or even suggest maybe just putting him on 1,200 calories a day instead. She tried to just cut down. The problem with cutting down on bad foods is that there's no measurable amount to work towards. You don't know how many calories you're dropping, and therefore don't know how much weight to expect to lose. And I don't know how Renee can say that Sean is doing better when it takes 3 medical professionals to get him out of his apartment because he still can't walk. Back at the hospital to see Dr. Now 2 months after his first appointment, Sean had to lose 100 pounds to qualify for weight loss surgery, but it's not looking good for Sean, as Dr. Now thinks he may have put even more weight on instead of losing it.
How is your degree of ability to move around?
It's worse.
Let me just check a few things. Sean is so big now, he cannot make it to the waiting room door. He's worse off now, and he looked like he maybe put another 50 to 100 pounds on. Yeah, your edema is getting much worse. At this point, he may be approaching 1,000 pounds. Very few people make it to that weight and survive long. Again,
to get a better understanding of how this even happened, Dr. Now decides to speak to Renee.
Good. I'm using, just good healthy food, but we need to get on 800 calories.
Ren's condition is far worse than 2 months ago. This is not acceptable.
What should he be eating? Should he be eating protein?
I gave you all the information you needed in the diet plan. You're not getting it. Sean is near death right now, so something has to be done. If I send Sean home, this will probably be the last time I see him. Right now, we need to get his health under control and his weight going in the right direction. You and your mom has not made a single positive change as far as I can tell. So I'm admitting you to the hospital immediately so we can get your health under control. This is going to be your last chance. Do this or that's it.
We will be able to do it.
I'm going to admit him to the hospital and start him on 800 calorie diet per day for next couple months.
Dr. Now only ever admits patients to the hospital when they either have a severe medical condition that needs monitoring, or the patient won't lose weight at home because of their enabler. And obviously in this case, as we all know, Renee is 100% Sean's enabler, and I wouldn't be surprised if she never even opened the diet plan that Dr. Now gave her. Another 2 months later, Sean is still in the hospital, having been on a restricted diet the entire time, and it's safe to say he isn't entirely happy about it.
I've been in the hospital 2 months. They've had me on a controlled diet, and I've pretty much been starving.
And the most shocking part of all this is that 2 months ago when Dr. Now admitted him, Sean actually weighed 1,003 pounds. That means that while Renee should have been feeding Sean at home the diet plan, she was actually overfeeding him, and he nearly gained over 100 pounds in over 2 months. That level of weight gain is actually insane, and I don't think I've ever seen anything like it before. Since being on the diet in the hospital, Sean has lost weight rapidly, losing 259 pounds in just 2 months. This shows just how much Renee was overfeeding Sean when she was supposed to be following the diet plan. But Sean isn't out of the woods yet, as Dr. now wants him to lose 100 pounds over the next 2 months by himself at home to qualify for the weight loss surgery. Concerned with Sean gaining any weight back, he also plans to send a nutritionist and physiotherapist to help with his progress. A week later, when he's back at home, Sean is starting to get fed up with the program already.
I've been working on making more progress, but I'm kind of getting fed up with all the restrictions. Dr. Now said he's sending some people to help me stay on track, and today the nutritionist is coming, and I'm not looking forward to it.
When the nutritionist arrives, we learn already that just a week in, Renee is already going back to her old habits of overfeeding Sean.
So, are you on an 800 calorie diet?
Truthfully, we're probably hitting closer to 14 to 1,500 calories a day, and sometimes even a little more than that. I'm still dealing with trying to say no to Sean on snacks in between meals. Hence the reason why he still got a piece of pizza this month and he still got a donut this month.
I know it's a tough thing, but I do think, if you want to have surgery and you want that to come about in a few months or so, you need to really, really be strict.
And when another week passes by and the physical therapist comes for a visit, Sean is again less than inviting.
I'm not in the mood today to deal with a physical therapist. I think I'm doing fine on my own.
He also doesn't really try at all when encouraged to stand up and take at least one step.
Moving is so painful and hard for me. I can't do as much as they want me to. This all just feels like too much.
Let's see if we can take 6 to 8 steps. You're at 4. We want to go a little bit further than that.
That's all I got to go, actually.
Okay. Well, let's back it up.
And the more I do, the harder it is for me to breathe. It's just way too difficult and way over my limit.
It's quite disturbing to see how the fat on Sean's legs have fused into position from the 8 years he's been lying down, and how his foot is quite severely deformed too. Not only has his weight had a major impact on his body, but also the years of lying down horizontally have too. A few weeks later, Sean calls 911 after suffering from severe chest pain. He's brought straight into the hospital to see Dr. Now, where they run several tests to find out what the cause is. But Dr. Now doesn't think there's actually anything wrong with Sean, and believes he's making up the symptoms to try and get out of the weight loss program.
Sean came to the hospital claiming he was having chest pain and worried he was having heart attack. I suspect that he was making it up to try to get out of his physical therapy and his diet plan, and I think I'm right about that. Sean, we ran some tests and nothing is wrong except that you need to lose more weight. So I'm guessing that you haven't been sticking to your diet and exercise. Okay, 787 pounds. That's a weight gain just over 40 pounds. That is unacceptable. You can't keep manipulating everyone like you have done with your mother. You're risking your life every day you do this. Either this stops now, or you can try to figure it out on your own, because you think you know better.
As Dr. Now is almost out of options and can't convince both Sean and Renee to stick to the diet plan, he sends a psychologist to help understand the relationship between the pair and get them to understand how unhealthy their dynamic is. He raises an important question about Renee always giving in to Sean's constant hunger.
Could you think about saying no as a way of saying, I love you?
I can, because I've kind of had to learn to do that. And I can't say it's a struggle I've completely overcome. I still succumb sometimes.
It's hard to say no.
Yeah, it's hard to say no.
Are you ready to start pushing yourself there?
Yeah.
Everything that normally you bring him now requires some level of movement.
Right.
And I don't want you to start real big. I want you to start with something that we know he could do.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it good.
Thank
you. Great meeting you. Y'all take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
The therapy session seems to have gone well, and the pair seem more determined to continue with the program. Whether they've actually stuck with the plan since Sean's hospital visit is about to be revealed, as he is back in the hospital 2 months later for the follow-up appointment. And just a reminder, in this time, Sean should have lost over 150 pounds.
I really hope I lost the 150 I needed. And I am very, very nervous.
6:36. cutting it close, but you did it. So we're going to approve you for surgery.
Thank you. It's been a hard journey, but it's well worth it.
I'm proud of you. I'll see you later.
Alrighty.
Okay?
Good talking to you.
All right.
I can't believe it.
Miss Bob, you did good.
I'm just so happy and proud right now.
And despite all odds, Sean has actually lost the weight needed to qualify for weight loss surgery. It seems the therapy session really helped, and Renee got that extra push he needed to start denying Sean's cravings. I don't know, it's just because we focus on the bad patients on this channel, but it seems rare that the therapy actually helps, so it's good to see it really making a difference in this case. A month later, Sean is ready to undergo weight loss surgery, and Dr. Now is cautious that this surgery will be very high risk, as Sean is one of the largest patients he's ever operated on. But despite the risks, the surgery did go very well, and now Sean has to continue with his weight loss post-surgery. A couple months after the surgery, Sean is back at the hospital for another weigh-in, where he should be dropping the pounds pretty quickly with his reduced appetite from the gastric sleeve.
You ready to get your weight checked?
I have worked pretty hard for this moment.
You're down to 583. This is good. You're under 600 pounds. All right?
Wow. That's awesome.
By the end of Sean's first episode, he's down to 548 pounds, a total loss of 455 pounds, nearly half of his original body weight from the start of the show. Despite all of his setbacks, mostly the complicated relationship with his mother, Sean changed it all around in the last few months and really made an effort to change. It seems like talking to the therapist really helped, and Sean might have needed it to get over the traumatic things that happened in his childhood to start making real progress. However, Sean's journey doesn't end with this episode, as we're lucky enough to get 2 extra shows featuring Sean in the spin-off Where Are They Now series. Almost a year after the episode aired, Sean is down to just under 500 pounds, but a lot of things have changed since the last time we saw him. Renee unfortunately fell quite ill and ended up in hospital. With no one left to take care of him, Dr. Now hired a healthcare assistant to help Sean with his daily tasks, but unfortunately, Renee ended up passing away due to her illness, leaving Sean completely heartbroken.
This past month, things got really bad because my mother passed away. A couple of months ago, my mom went to the hospital because she wasn't feeling well, and she just kept getting worse. They said she had renal failure, and she didn't make it. So she passed away a couple weeks ago, and I'm devastated. And I don't know what to do right now, because my mom was everything to me. She took care of me and provided for me, and I've been completely dependent on her for my whole life. I've made a lot of progress these last couple of months, being able to do more for myself, but I'm still not able to get around for too long, and I need help, so there's no way I can get a job and provide for myself right now. So I can't pay for this apartment anymore, and I have to move out. So my dad is down helping me pack everything.
The situation that Sean is in is quite dangerous, as he's always overeaten when upset or stressed, and right now he's in a very high stress environment. With his mother gone, he has to move out of his apartment and find somewhere cheaper to live, but he doesn't have any other friends or family to properly take care of him. Back in Dr. Now's office, Sean is stepping on the scales to ensure he is keeping the weight off and losing each month, but with the stress of his mother, it's unclear if Sean will have been able to stick to his goal.
I'm in Dr. Now's right now, and I'm about to find out where my weight's at. I was down to 492 a few months ago, and Dr. Now gave me the goal of losing 25 pounds a month. So that means I need to be below 417.
523.
That's a little unfortunate. I didn't think I'd be that far off from where I was hoping to be. I know I've had a hard time dealing with everything, but I don't think I'm eating a lot. So I don't understand how I gained. And I honestly don't know what Dr. Now will say.
Gaining over 30 pounds instead of losing 25 pounds is a massive turn in the opposite direction. But to be honest, I do sympathise with Sean here, as losing his mother has obviously had a really bad effect on him, and I can imagine he's really suffering with the grief. While Dr. Now is clearly also sympathetic to Sean, he doesn't see the situation as an excuse for Sean's bad habits to come creeping back. For someone like Sean, if he doesn't turn his life around quickly, he could easily get back to over 1,000 pounds again in less than a year, as it's way easier for him to gain weight than it is to lose it. As Sean is also struggling with finding accommodation, he asks Dr. Now if it would be possible for him to live in a care facility. However, Dr. Now thinks this is totally out of the question, as Sean really needs to continue losing weight, and then he will be in a position where he can start looking for a job and start supporting himself properly.
I know this may be hard to hear, but you're a grown man who has been given every resource to be able to take care of yourself right now. But the problem really is you don't want to. And we're not going to enable you and make that worse. So if you want to help, they lose the weight. We'll keep providing you with psychotherapy to help you work through things. And Deborah, your care assistant, will keep helping you for the next few months.
I'll lose the weight. Don't worry.
All right.
Thanks.
When Renee was alive, she did absolutely everything for him. And now that she's gone, Sean is having to start picking up the pieces and doing the growing up that he should have done over 10 years ago. The first step towards Sean becoming independent is moving into his own flat, where he has to organise everything himself, and it's safe to say that's not going too well.
Today I'm moving out of my current apartment and trying to get into a new one. And the reason I have to move is I can't afford the rent. So this was the last day I could stay in my apartment. And I found a small little studio apartment that I'm trying to move into. A moving company is helping me move today. But this move is going to wipe me out financially. I can't afford the movers, the taxi, let alone rent. So I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm basically screwed.
The state of Sean's apartment on moving day is crazy. It doesn't look like anything's packed or if he's even ready to go. He just tells the movers to pack all the paper and rubbish that's been left on the floor in case it's important. Somehow, all of Sean's things have been moved into his new studio apartment, and we can catch up with him a month later, but it doesn't actually look like he's even unpacked anything.
I haven't been able to unpack much of anything because there's just nowhere to put it. On top of that, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to afford to stay here long. So might as well leave everything in boxes so I don't have to go through the torture doing what I just did over again. But it makes it impossible to find anything, which is amazing because in this place it's ridiculously small.
But Sean isn't in his new apartment for long before being rushed to the hospital after calling an ambulance for his severe stomach pain.
Sean arrived at the hospital last night complaining of severe stomach pain. We have run some tests and he has developed a significant number of gallstones. So overall, he's just not taking care of himself. And now he has an issue that we need to address before it becomes far more serious. In addition to the fact that he looks like he has gained some since I saw him last.
As Dr. now believes that Sean has put quite a bit of weight on since his last appointment, he asks Sean what his diet has been like. But because Sean is struggling with money issues, he says he can only afford to eat bread. Now, I know food is expensive, but there are lots of alternatives that Sean could be eating instead that wouldn't break the bank.
Alright, Sean, let's see if we can get you up. You're up to 598, almost 600 pounds. So in 2 months, you gained almost 75 pounds. That's unacceptable, Sean. But one step at a time. You're going to have to get your eating habit under control before it gets any worse. Because the reality is you should have lost at least 50, 60 pounds. So tomorrow, we'll go ahead and put you to sleep. We'll look down your stomach and take your gallbladder and see how your sleep holding up, okay?
Yeah.
Sean is making one bad decision after the other, gaining double what he's supposed to be losing. The next day, Sean undergoes surgery to remove his gallbladder, and at the same time, Dr. now checks the state of his stomach to see if it's gone back to its original size after the surgery.
And I'm also going to use this operation to see how his gastric revision is doing, and see if he has stretched anything back out with his weight gain. Hold on a minute. He's definitely started the process of undoing his operation because we reduced the size of his stomach by 90%, and right now he's overeaten so much it's been stretched back to about half the size it was before surgery. Looks good. Let's close it up.
The overeating that Sean has done over the past few months has basically undone the gastric sleeve, making it harder for him to keep the weight off in the future. Dr. now suggests that Sean has a full gastric bypass instead of just a gastric sleeve. However, Sean outright refuses to have any more surgeries, but if he doesn't comply with the diet, there'll be nothing anyone can do to stop him from gaining all the way back. But everything seems to be getting worse and worse for Sean, as a natural disaster completely derails his plans. Sean ends up staying at the hospital longer than he was supposed to originally, as Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, leaving most of the city flooded. When Sean eventually gets back to his studio apartment, he walks in to find water damage on all of his belongings, with the flooding likely getting at least a foot high.
This is not encouraging. Stay here, because I may need to be leaving. Please, God, let me try. I just crazy. There we make it's lost. It's just as bad as I was afraid it was going to be. Water is gone now, but we got hit bad. And it looks like it got up a few feet in here. And I could smell the rot and the mold, which is probably coming from everything, including my stuff. This is pretty much my worst case scenario. And what I was afraid of. I just feel like giving up right now. Feels like anytime I even want to try and work hard to do what I need to start taking a step in the right direction, life just slaps me right back down. It's lower than I'd like. So I have no idea what to do. And I feel completely hopeless at this point. I don't know how to fix my life. Feels like my luck can't get any worse. Because my life is the only thing I have left to lose. And right now, I just can't take it.
With his apartment flooded, the only option he has was to stay in a hotel. It's not an ideal scenario, especially considering he needs to stick to the diet without a kitchen. Not only this, Sean still needs help dressing himself, which means his carer has to come to the hotel to take care of him.
My friend and PCA Deborah is here today to help me out.
Alrighty, well let's put these shorts on now.
I would need some help with this. Without help, it's really hard for me to get out and about. Really move.
It's crazy to see Sean walking around now, after being bedbound for so long. The frightening thing is, even after having lost over 400 pounds, he still looks like the other stars starting their weight loss journey. And this really just drives home how large he was at the start, and how much further he still has to go. As Sean can't live in a hotel forever, he goes out furniture shopping with his carer, but this is something Sean has never had to do before because he's never lived as an adult. When Renee was alive, she would have taken care of all this for Sean, but now that he's on his own, he's got a lot of catching up to do.
It's pretty nerve-wracking and frustrating, trying to figure out how to start over from after the flood. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to actually afford it and get it to my apartment.
All right, we got it.
As Sean is also struggling financially without his mother income to help, which I think was also a disability, the furniture store sympathises with his situation, and due to the flooding too, they agreed to give Sean a brand new mattress free of charge. In another stroke of luck, Sean's rental company moved him to a new apartment that was undamaged by the flood, as well as letting him stay rent-free for a few months. But with nothing else to do, with a bit more income and no distractions, Sean's weight loss journey is starting to slip again.
But the boredom has been getting to me because not much has been going on, but there's not much I can do, so it's just really hard. I'm trying to stick to the diet, but I know I'm probably not doing so great right now. But the only reason I've been eating crap lately is I don't have enough money to buy food. And pizza is pretty much the cheapest and easiest thing to get.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Thanks.
All right, you're welcome.
And anytime I eat pizza, I do think I shouldn't eat this. But it's just too hard right now. And I'm starting to get more rashes on my body. I've called Dr. Now about it, and he says it's because I'm not bathing and taking care of myself. So he's been sending a care assistant to help me because he's worried that if I get an infection from it, that it could get really bad and it could kill me.
Watching Sean answer the door to the delivery man with nothing but a sheet draped around him is honestly quite disgusting. I'm not sure why Sean's gone back to not wearing any clothes because he started wearing them in the previous episode. Unless they were damaged in the flood or he can't dress by himself, I don't see why he needs to start getting lazy about it again. And not getting dressed means that he can't go out for walks, which he definitely should be doing as this helps with his mobility. And with the added fact that he's ordering pizza because he can't afford anything else, I'd definitely say that Sean is slipping back into his old lazy ways. I don't want to be too hard on him here because I imagine he's grieving the loss of his mother and struggling with feelings of isolation, but he still should be making some kind of effort here. On top of this, Sean says he's starting to struggle with his mobility again, and you won't believe what he's been doing instead of going to the toilet.
PCA is supposed to come every day. On days my PCA doesn't come, I don't get my bucket done. I don't know.
Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm good, you?
Fine.
Good. Because it's starting to get too hard to get up too often. And after a few trips to the bathroom or kitchen, I have to rest for a bit. So I have a bucket for restroom breaks for when it gets to be too much to get all the way to the bathroom. and I don't have the energy to go out much.
Ready?
And to do much. So I don't feel up to going to the therapy yet, or having Dr. Paradise come here. I'm planning on doing that soon. I'm getting back on track. This is all just a temporary situation, and I think I need to hit rock bottom before I start making my climb back to the top. I just need this time right now to take a break and get fully settled in and into a good pattern. And I will get back to where I need. I'm just going through a really rough patch right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I want Dr. Now's help, and I'm going to need his help to get into the facility I need. I just need to hit the pause button and take a moment. I need a minute. I don't know how much I've gained, maybe 10 pounds, maybe more, I don't know. Primary reason I'm not looking forward to seeing Dr. Now is I know I haven't lost weight. He's going to be pissed, and I don't need to deal with his attitude.
The fact that Sean says he needs to hit rock bottom before he works his way back up is scary. What does he think rock bottom even is? Because to be honest, I think he's already there. He looks like he's gained over 100 pounds since his last appointment, and it's like he's totally given up. Sean doesn't have any time to pause the program. He needs to act fast, because he's already slipping and becoming very close to weighing over 1,000 pounds again. I know he's struggling with his financial issues, but if he stuck to the weight loss plan, he would eventually be able to get a job and start earning more money. And also remember, it's cheaper to eat less food. It's like he's sitting and waiting for something to happen rather than helping himself. The rash in Sean's stomach is also quite concerning, as he isn't washing himself as often as he needs to, and it looks like it's at risk of becoming infected. Over the next few weeks, it gets even worse, so Dr. Now asks Sean to come to the hospital so we can take a proper look at it, but Sean isn't looking forward to seeing Dr. Now at all.
And I'm not looking forward to this, because I'm just not in the mood to deal with whatever he has to say about my weight, because I should still have another month to make some progress. I just want to get this over with and get treated and hopefully get home quickly without too much grief right now.
And as expected, Dr. Now doesn't hold back when he sees Sean.
Well, it looked like you have gained a lot, so I'm sure that's part of the issue. But let's see how things look. This is all infected.
That's not the ones I'm worried about.
As long as you're this big, they're going to be able to get rid of all this infection.
Sadly, I know that.
But you're not doing anything about it, and that's the problem.
I'm trying to get down to eating small amounts again.
You're going right back to the way you were.
Haven't been eating super well lately.
You gotta open one then. Okay, this is not good. Okay, Sean.
Ouch. That's the one I'm worried about.
We're gonna go ahead and instruct him some IV antibiotic, get some culture, and see what's going on. But your situation is not good at all because you're choosing to eat whatever you want right now.
I'm done eating crap and I'm done eating bad, and this is a good wake up for me.
Well, I heard that before, so I'm skeptical about that. Once we clear this infection up, then you're gonna have to prove it.
Sure.
All right, I'll see you after we run some tests.
Dr. Now is seriously concerned about Sean, as he seems to be heading down the path of self-destruction. He's fallen back into his old habits and outright refusing to meet with the therapist or any of the healthcare professionals that Dr. Now's asked him to. And to make matters worse, the infection on Sean's stomach has gotten much worse and is now a literal open wound. And Dr. Now is worried that without treatment, it could lead to his death within months. But Dr. Now doesn't just want to admit him to the hospital again and put him on a controlled diet, as they would be doing all of the hard work for him. Sean needs to make the difficult steps at home first, otherwise he'll just be wasting Dr. Now's time yet again. The end of Sean's first Where Are They Now episode ends on quite the cliffhanger, as Dr. Now isn't sure Sean has the strength to continue with the program, and with his infection, his situation is life-threatening. But thankfully, we don't have to wait too long to find out what happens to Sean, as he has his second Where Are They Now episode that's set a year after the previous one. At this point, Sean weighs 668 pounds with a goal weight of 190 pounds, meaning he has to lose almost 500 pounds to finish the program. Due to the significant threat on his life, Dr. Now keeps Sean in the hospital for a while to keep a close eye on his infection.
I've been in the hospital for about a month. I'm here because one of my wounds got infected. The infection in my side was bad enough they felt they had to check me in, and Dr. Now told me that it could be life-threatening. I'm not happy about being here because they have me on a controlled diet. What happened was I hit a really bad depression for a bit. In the last few months, I've been eating a little too much junk food. I just lost my mom this year, After that, I didn't really care about anything. So I just ate what I wanted, did what I wanted, and it caused me to gain weight. Now I'm done with the pity party. I just want to get back on track. I'm just hoping I can go home.
It's crazy to me that Sean is annoyed about being on the controlled diet, when it's the only thing that's stopping him from literally dying. And after a month on the new diet, Sean gets to see if it's paid off when he's about to be weighed.
I weighed 668, and I think I dropped a fair bit of weight since I've been here. We'll just have to see.
567 pounds.
At least I'm down from when I came in. It's a fairly good drop. And the last few days, my wounds have been doing fairly well. Looks like they're healing up, so I might be going home soon. I'm looking forward to that.
Losing 100 pounds in a month is incredible, and it shows just how effective the diet is. It's clear as day really. If you stick to it, you lose the weight. It makes it even more obvious when stars are lying about their diets too, because it's clear that they haven't stuck to it if they do gain weight, no matter what they try and tell Dr. Now. But even though he's lost lots of weight, Sean still isn't happy with the situation.
I've been here in the hospital for a while now, and it's been miserable to say the least. The food is pretty bad, so this place is nothing like what I need. It's far too restrictive, and I need to be somewhere more reasonable, which is why I'm telling everybody I need a care facility, not a hospital.
And I'm not really sure what Sean means when he says he needs to stay somewhere more reasonable. Dr. Now is trying to save his life. Of course he's not going to like the food when he's eaten nothing but fast food for the past 10 years. To be honest, Sean's lucky that Dr. Now intervened when he did, because during the time when Sean was at home, he gained over 70 pounds on his own. As Sean's hospital stays ran its course, Dr. Now gives Sean some strict instructions on how to take care of himself at home, as he runs the risk of his infection coming back.
So you need to make sure you wash dirty once you go home, okay?
Unfortunately, I still can't fit in the shower at home. I'm trying to do sponge baths and stuff, but even that's limited.
The shower is not too small, you're too big.
Point of view.
Well, what's going to help you with that is losing weight, because you're not going to fit in the shower when you're 500 pounds. But you're a grown man, and you should be able to take care of yourself and do the basic things you need, like keeping clean. And if you don't, your infection will come back. You understand me? Good.
Almost all of the things Sean complains about would be solved if he just lost the weight. Like Dr. Now says, the shower isn't too small, Sean is just too big. And the fact that Dr. Now has to teach Sean to wash himself shows just how much his mother Renee looked after him, to the point where Sean can't even keep himself clean as nearly a 30-year-old man. Before he goes home, Dr. Now would like to see Sean's weight one last time to see if he's lost any more pounds in the 2 weeks since his last weighing.
Alright, let me turn the scale on. Alright, this is your... So you're at 521.
And my back's starting to get...
Okay, sit back down. So that's a weight loss of 147 pounds in a month and a half. So that's good.
In just 2 weeks, Sean has lost nearly 50 pounds. Again, another incredible weight loss. And this shows when Dr. Now gives people a 50-pound weight loss in around 2 months, it should be easy, as Sean's just lost it in 2 weeks. And Sean could make the same progress at home too if he sticks to the diet, but we'll see how he gets on with that soon. Scared to live by himself again, Sean calls his dad to see if he'll be willing to live with him for a bit, to help with morale and ensure he sticks to his diet.
I just talked to Dr. Now. He said that I should be able to go home today.
Good. Yeah, that's good news.
So I'll keep you updated.
I appreciate it. I'll tell you what, I've got a busy day. I got to get busy. I'll tell you.
Alrighty. No problem.
About that. I can talk to you this evening.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye now.
Alright, bye. So I guess my dad doesn't have time for me, so I don't have anyone to help me. I'm completely on my own since my mom passed away.
And it's quite sad to see that Sean's dad didn't seem to care much about him being discharged from the hospital, but it also seems that Sean took it too personally, as he didn't even ask his dad if he could stay, instead getting upset that he didn't offer. A month later, Sean is settling in at home living by himself again, but he's starting to slip back into his old ways, with the excuse that he can't afford healthy food.
I've been home from the hospital for a few weeks now, but I've just been settling in, trying to get adjusted to being on my own. Things since I've been back from the hospital haven't been going very well. Now that I'm taking care of myself, I'm responsible for my own food choices, and it's hard. because I can't afford to buy healthy food.
Not only has his eating been unhealthy, but his personal hygiene seems to be slipping too.
This shirt. It's so uncomfortable. As far as my hygiene goes, I have a caregiver who has been coming by, but she runs out of time for helping me with everything. But I do try and take care of myself where I can. I recently bought some supplies to help me take a little bit better care of washing. Bought a bucket so I can keep hot water in and some soap to help wash me a bit better. I told Dr. Now when I was in the hospital that I want to turn things around, and I do.
The image of Sean washing himself next to the kitchen sink is honestly pretty disgusting and disturbing, as he's rinsing his dirty wash rag over the same surfaces he prepares his food on. It's sad that the care assistant doesn't have enough time, but like I've said time and time again before, the more weight Sean loses, the easier these issues will become, as Sean will finally be able to use a shower by himself. After a month passes by, Sean is scheduled for an appointment with Dr. Now, and the only problem is, he fails to turn up.
I was supposed to go to Dr. Now's a couple days ago, but I missed the appointment because I'm worried I didn't do so well. I just need a little more time to make some more progress. But Dr. Nazarian called. He said I had no excuse, and if I want to avoid losing my care assistant, I have to go back and see Dr. Now. And I'm very dependent on my PCA, so I have no choice.
Sean is always asking for more time to lose weight, but the reality is, the more time he gets, the more weight he'll put on instead of lose. He's avoiding his appointment with Dr. Now because he doesn't want to face the reality of a situation, that he has in fact gained weight and would rather sit at home instead. Sean's physical mobility seems to be declining too, as he's back to only being able to walk a few steps. He knows Dr. Now will notice this and suspects that he'll have put on even more weight, which even Sean knows he has. When Sean steps on the scale in Dr. Now's office, you won't believe the amount of weight that Sean has put back on. It's actually unbelievable.
I've been able to get out of this bed and start walking some.
Good job, sweetie. You're doing great.
I still have ways to go, but I'm closer than I've been in 10 years. To be back out there, doing things, living life.
You're definitely moving a lot better, honey.
Dr. Now doesn't realize it's not easy for me to move around, but I'm trying really hard to get past the pain.
Good job.
It is extremely uncomfortable. The appointment's not going to go well. I know for a fact. I'm honestly not sure what my way will be. Just going to go with it, just see what the hell happens. Every time I go to Dr. Now's, I haven't lost weight. I'm gaining weight. It's not that I'm not trying to lose weight. I do want to lose it. But things are difficult, and every time I go, I get Dr. Now's attitude of, you gotta lose weight. And I'm not looking forward to that. Last time I checked my weight was a couple of months ago. When I left the hospital, I weighed about 520, and Dr. Now wanted me to lose at least 30 pounds a month. So that means I should be down to 460 pounds today. I have no hopes, no expectations. I just want to get this over with.
709.
The number today is surprising, very disappointing. Dr. Now's not going to be happy about the progress. I'm going back.
And Dr. Now is less than impressed with Sean's complete failure over the past few months.
Last time I saw you was 2 months ago, and you were 521. Now you're almost 710. So in 2 months, you gained 188 pounds. In 2 months. So how did that happen?
I just didn't give a crap.
What do you mean, didn't give a crap? About what?
Emotionally, I haven't been in the right mind.
Well, at this rate, you're going to be back to your highest weight here soon. But we can't seem to get you to understand that with the choices you're making and the way you're going, you're not going to last too long. And if that's the case, Dan, the only thing left for me is to fill out your death certificate, only leave the date open, because you're not too far from it.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more we can do for you if you don't wake up. So how do we get you to stop doing what you're doing?
No idea.
What do you mean, no idea?
I just can't stop eating. Don't know why.
You know how much food you had to eat to gain almost 100 pounds a month? This is more than you just can't stop. How are you even getting that much food to gain like that?
I had some money come in recently, which I hadn't.
So, what did you do with the money that you got recently?
Pretty much ate it.
So how much money is left now?
Over 1,000.
How much you started with? So you ate $9,000.
Oh, some of it I shopped with, but bought some stuff I needed.
You bought some stuff, then the rest was for the food?
Never said I was smart.
So what are you going to do when you run out of money?
Stop eating.
Why can't you stop now?
As you said, impulse control. Don't have it.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm stupid and weak.
You're not stupid. You're just playing the game. You just have impulse to eat, and you think you can keep going like you have been without it killing you. That's why you're in this situation. So you have a pathological condition that you need to change before that happens. And we're giving you the tools to do that. But we can't make the choice to use them and stick with it. You're not even doing what we said to prevent your infection from coming back, because I can smell that your personal hygiene is getting worse.
I'm trying to wash every day.
No, you're not, Sean. It's evident that you haven't washed in a week or more. I can tell because you smell so bad. You have personal care assistant, and if you try to help it, but you always have an excuse not to do that, because either you're tired or you're busy or some other reasons.
Yeah.
So right now, you tell me how we can help you to start to do what you need to live.
My jaw literally dropped when it said that he'd spent over £9,000 in just over 2 months just on food. To put that in perspective, Sean must have spent around £150 a day just on food. It's extra infuriating too when we consider that just a few months ago, Sean said that he was too poor to buy healthy food. His outright lies are shameful, especially because Sean is essentially using this money, which I assume was some sort of disability bursary, just to eat food, when it really should have been spent on things like carers, improvement to his apartment, a gym membership maybe, and whatever else Sean needed to start his new life. Sean begs Dr. Now to do a full gastric bypass surgery instead of just the sleeve he had 2 years ago. But Dr. Now outright refuses. 1, because his body wouldn't be able to handle it at all with his current weight, and 2, because he doesn't see the point when Sean will just eat whatever he wants when he's back home anyway. 3 days later, Dr. Now admits Sean to the hospital in an intervention type situation, as a last ditch attempt to get Sean to start taking his life seriously. Dr. Now comes to have a chat with Sean about his life, but it gets rather heated rather quickly.
But the bad news is your infection is starting to come back, and you gained almost 200 pounds in the last 2 months. So you're getting back to your original weight now, huh?
Not quite that far, but close.
At this point, we tried almost everything to get your weight down. So now, what do you think? What will be an option for you?
Well, I'm going to stop eating crap, basically.
How? You had a weight loss surgery, you got down to 400, you gained 300 pounds, and...
I never said I was perfect. I screwed up. It's time to fix it.
Well, that's not accident.
I don't have any way to say how to do it. I just know I have to do it.
You've been saying that for years, and every time we get your weight down, you go home and you get it all back. And you won't go to psychotherapy and do what you need. So at this point, the question is how to get you to stop making excuses and do what you need.
What part of I don't have a clue do I need to enunciate better? I don't know. I know I need to do it. I have to get home and do it.
You've known that for a while now. And instead of doing what you should, you keep on doing all your progress to where now you're getting to the point that we're going to be bedridden. And you get another 30, 40 pounds, then you won't be able to move. Then you're going to be in a bed and this is going to be escalating. And then your condition will just go rapidly down.
Yeah, well, let's just say this has been a wake up.
John, you had so many wake up calls in your life. How many more you need?
No more.
Okay. All right.
Dr. Now is pretty spot on here. Sean has never really changed before, so why should he believe that this will be the last time that Sean will completely fail once he goes home? While at the hospital, Sean gets a lot more of his personal hygiene needs met, as there's more staff to take care of him.
I've been able to take showers every day. Unfortunately, I still need a little help here and there, but I've made some good progress. I come back to my room every day hurting pretty bad. But I'm still trying and I'm getting a little better every day. But right now, I'm in a lot of pain. I have to rest for a bit. I'm in a lot of pain here. Being over 700 pounds again is depressing. but I can't let it get to me or I'll go back into a bad spot. I know I can't do that. Can I please get pain med? I'm hurting really bad. It feels like somebody took a flamethrower to it. So as hard as it is, I'm pushing myself to get to where I need and take control of my life.
Once Sean has been in the hospital for 5 weeks and attended all of the physical and psychological therapy appointments, Dr. now comes to check in with Sean to see how he's getting on, and also to check his weight, as he's been on the low 800 calorie diet for the duration of his hospital stay.
So let's get you up now to see where your weight's at. You were 709 a month ago, and you should have been able to lose about 100 pounds in this time. So let's go and check your weight right now, okay?
Okay. Give me like a couple minutes to get dressed. It's actually easier for me to get on the other side.
I'm proud of you. You're getting dressed on your own. That's a big improvement.
Okay, ready to go.
And you're walking a lot better on your own, so you're doing great. I can tell you look smaller too, so hopefully your weight is down a great deal from where you were at from a month ago when you were 709. All right, at this point you should have lost over 100 pounds on a controlled diet. And hopefully we get you back under 600. But let's see where you're at. 588. You're making good progress, and I'm proud of you.
Somebody's going to have to grab the wheelchair.
You need a wheelchair?
Yes.
You walk a good bit, so go get it.
Just like the previous times when Sean has stayed in hospital, he's lost another 100 pounds, but we know he will lose the weight in hospital because he has no one to sneak the food in for him. The real challenge will be if Sean can stick to the diet on his own at home. Doctor now decides that the best way to help Sean is to keep him in hospital long enough for him to lose enough weight to be able to shower by himself and walk unassisted for longer. If Sean goes home to continue the progress at a more manageable weight, it might make the process easier. Currently, Sean's infection is quite severe, and he needs to be able to shower at least daily to keep it clean. Plus, Sean is so large that he's unable to wear shoes, as none will fit him. If he loses another few hundred pounds, he'll be able to fit into a pair and start walking around his neighbourhood. A few weeks later, Dr. Now gets Sean to try and take a shower unassisted to see if it's safe enough for him to do so at home, which would mean that he would finally get to leave the hospital. But Sean isn't feeling too confident about the situation.
I don't want to scald you. I'm going to get you a long-handled sponge.
Alright. Sorry, I'm trying to get the same spot.
You're good. Take your time.
One more soap?
Yep.
Okay, so I look a little like a boiled lobster.
Hey, a clean lobster. That's all that matters.
You got a good grip?
It's sitting so long, it's hard to steam.
Take your time.
Take your time. You're good.
You bringing a towel with me?
Yes, sir. We got some clean ones right there.
Watch, get your elbows in.
It's been hard, but it feels good to do this. My goal is to be completely independent of needing anyone's help. And I'm really proud of what I've accomplished so far.
As he's able to shower by himself, Dr. Now agrees to send Sean home in the next few days, but only after he steps on the scales for another weigh-in.
You got your weight a couple of weeks ago, and you were down to 544. So hopefully today we got you in the 400s. 489, 1 pound short of losing another 100 pounds this month. So that's great. Overall, you lost 220 pounds in the last 2 months.
With Sean's weight now in the 400s, he officially weighs less than half of what he did when he first started the program 3 years ago. The crazy thing is, Sean is still massive. It's hard to imagine that used to be over double the size he is now. When Sean finally goes home, we get to see how he's been getting on after 2 months of living on his own.
I've been home for a few weeks now. I've been trying with my diet. I'm trying to make sure I only eat what I'm supposed to eat. And I'm trying to stay within my calorie limits. I'm not eating any junk food. I'm only eating healthy food so I can lose weight. But doing this is really hard. It's not that easy to change a lifetime relationship like that. The help Dr. Nazardin is sending has been good for me. And it's been helping me get fully settled in and settled into a good pattern. The people who help me, they're very good. And it feels nice having somebody nearby. On days my PCA doesn't come, I'm responsible for my own food choices, and I'm also making my own food during the day. So I'm trying to be really careful right now.
It seems like Sean is making healthier options with his diet, but I wish he would start wearing proper clothes during the day and not just wrapping a sheet around himself. I actually feel bad for the crew here. God knows what they saw slip out from under that sheet. But it seems just a few weeks later, Sean starts to slip yet again and misses his appointment with Dr. Now.
Dr. Now wanted me to see him for a checkup a couple weeks ago. I couldn't make my appointment, so he called an ambulance to bring me to the hospital to find out where my weight's at. I missed my appointment because I have started feeling really woozy and sick. Plus, on top of that, I'm worried I didn't do so well with my weight loss.
Because Sean's life hangs in the balance, Dr. Now is serious about Sean attending his appointments. Sean agrees to go to the hospital via ambulance, but he's dreading stepping on the scale again, as he knows he's put on more weight. And just like last time, he did actually gain more weight, but this time around, it's a hell of a lot more.
After we sent Sean home from a PT facility a couple months ago, he was supposed to come back for an appointment within a month, so we could make sure he was staying on track. But he didn't show up. And then he made excuses saying he was sick and avoided us for a few weeks until I sent an ambulance to bring him here to the hospital because I was worried this all meant he was going off the tracks again. And unfortunately, that's the case because when we sent him home almost 2 months ago, we had been able to get his weight down to 489. But as of today, he has gained 278 pounds to get back up to 766 in the short time he's been home.
Oh, thank God.
So this is not only extremely disappointing, but it's a very dangerous situation we have with him now. Because with the constant weight gain, his body has been very close to hitting its limit for a while now, and every time Sean does this, he's rolling the dice on it being the time his body gives up.
The situation is awful for Dr. Now. Sean just can't be trusted not to eat himself to death at home. And then he can't just do all the work for Sean and keep him at the hospital on a controlled diet, because it just seems like a complete waste of time, effort, and money.
Well, as you know, we checked your weight, and now you're 766?
Yeah.
So that's 277-pound weight gain in only 2 months, or more like 6 weeks, since the transition team was keeping an eye on you for the first 2 weeks you were back home. So that's a lot of weight to gain. What do you been eating?
Honestly, I have no idea. Just eat anything that sounded good.
No idea. Somebody else is eating for you?
No, I basically eat anything that sounded good.
So...
My chips.
So...
Chunk like that.
How do you get in your food?
It's delivered.
You're getting food delivered to you?
Yeah. Which one? I'm deleting that app as soon as I'm done.
So what is that going to do?
I've been talking to a couple of people. I'm going to have them order the bloody food from now on.
How's that going to work for you? Sean, you started with from 900 pounds. We get you after your sleeve down to 400. Then you gain it back, and we put you on controlled diet to save your life. And you gain it back, and we did it again and again. At this point, we put more resources toward helping you than any other patient. But you never lost any weight. And in a couple of months, you're going to be up to 900. But that's assuming you even live that long at this point. So we're going to run some tests to see if there is anything life-threatening that we need to address. Because your body has been close to its breaking point for a while now. And this weight gain can push it to its limit. But if we do find an issue, there is a chance we may not be able to do anything at this point. So you have created an extremely dangerous situation for yourself. So you're killing yourself with the food. We give you all the tools you need. Nothing is working for you. So what's the solution? What do you think?
It seems like Sean needs to have all of his cards taken away and any food-related apps on his phone blocked, because he just can't be trusted. But this is all part of Sean's problem. He can't do anything for himself and needs everyone around him to do it for him. His mother, Renee, took care of him so much that he just never learned to be his own person. And to be honest, I don't think he'll ever change. I think this is part of the reason why he wants to live in a care facility at less than 30 years old, because he doesn't want to live his own life and wants someone else to just run it for him. From what I've seen, I wouldn't be surprised if Sean has some type of learning difficulty that limits him from properly taking care of himself. Dr. Now runs several tests on Sean, finding out that his health has severely deteriorated. As the only way to relieve these issues is to lose the weight, Dr. Now transfers Sean to a rehab facility where he's placed on a calorie-controlled diet and is closely monitored. Unfortunately though, just 2 weeks later, Sean passed away from complications related to his infection.
I'm very sad to say that earlier today, Sean Milliken passed away. Over the past few years, we had worked with him to try to get his weight down, but Sean has consistently regained any weight we helped him to lose. And every time he did that, it put more and more strain on his system. And his recent massive weight gain was just too much for his body to handle. His health was already starting to decline rapidly when we got him back in the hospital, so we quickly tried to get his weight down again by putting him back in a facility and on another controlled diet. But there was nothing we could do, and Sean's heart just wasn't able to go on and gave up.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Dr. Nuzard, and I was calling about Sean.
Okay.
And this afternoon, Sean had some difficulty breathing, and then his heart to stop, and then we resuscitated him, but he did not respond to it, and he did not make it.
Oh, God. So he has passed away.
Yes, he did.
Thank you for all you've done for him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sean was a sweet person who really struggled the past couple of years with everything he went through. But there were moments that he did try hard and made progress that I was proud of him for. And I very much wanted to see him succeed. For a moment after his last day in the facility, I thought Sean was going to be able to turn his life around. But in the end, he wasn't able to overcome his food addiction, and it took his life. But Sean did try, and every struggle and fight to live, no matter what it looks like or the outcome, is something to be proud of. Sean never gave up. So as hard as it was for him to stop pretending to his old ways, what we should remember him by is that he struggled and tried until then, and I'm proud of him for that. And as sad as his outcome is, I'm at least glad I had the chance to know him.
Sean was really living on borrowed time his entire life, as he'd weighed so much for so long. It was hard for him to find motivation to change because he had never known anything else. He spent his entire life inside and had never gained the experiences a young man should, making it impossible for Sean to imagine that his life could be different. I think Renee played a huge part in limiting Sean's life for so long, as he really did find it impossible to live without her. He never knew how to take care of himself and how to function on his own. In reality, he was just set up for failure and didn't know how to change, which eventually cost Sean his life without really getting a chance. Sean's story is honestly one of the saddest on My 600 Pound Life. Now, if you want to see more episode breakdowns of My 600 Pound Life, click the video that's on your screen now. Follow my Instagram at BigCraigYT. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.